the City of Love, we begin the Six Invitational main stage with the greatest team to ever touch the game, and FLUXO W7M, who are eager, bursting, burning for revenge.
They want to prove that Furia cannot go undefeated, that he cannot make every single grand finals, that they in fact can be taken down by a quote-unquote lesser team. But like we said, these two rosters know each other all too well. If you're Furia, you can probably just do your usual and maybe come out ahead because you have better players, more experience, more trophies behind you. For FLUXO, you gotta bring in that wow factor, something, a bit of a curveball to shake Furia and make that prep work not matter and not relevant.
And FLUXO W7M, well, they've got plenty of wow factors. There's such a star-studded roster. Palu and Dodez have the most clutches in the entire Six Invitational this year. 8 clutches each in the 22 maps that they have played. Dodez, 17 3Ks. He's an unbelievable beast. And let's not forget Palu, right? His 8th Six Invitational. He played his first one 7 years ago when he was 18 years of age.
Wow.
And now he is soon to be a father. He's played a Six Invitational in Paris here before. In fact, he's played the grand final with that tragic day, that tragic weekend for him, where not only did he lose his own father, who passed away back home in Brazil, but he also then lost the grand final. He couldn't do what he was hoping to try and prove to his father, and now, well, he stands here at the Six Invitational looking to take down the greatest to ever do it for a spot in the lower bracket.
There's been a lot of debate this event about the meta and the operators and how do we define this current era of Siege, and I went to Reddit because they had a good post discussion going about what names would they spend, what names would they use, and most people seem to agree that power-ups has been the most notable word so far. We're in the power-ups meta where banning and playing very specific, very strong operators are by far the very best. So here, power-ups, the Clash, the Ying, both banned away. You can argue the same thing for Asami. There's a play rate, Grim and Blackbeard being brought out, very much again, those power operators. For Furia, it's good, comfortable guns. A little bit of trap, a little bit of protection, a little bit of drone denial, the Mossy, the Omai, the Lesion. In the very first round, you're on this stage, so much audio, so much noise. It's about settling into a long series and a long match.
That's exactly right. And so we see FLUXO W7M, a stereotypically very aggressive team, starting quite slowly. They're droning out the map. This is a great drone spot here from Palu, as he can spot most of what's happening in office. FLUXO W7M continue to look around, poke and prod, and figure out where they're going to start making a move. But there are a lot of traps on the defensive side. I'm thinking about those goo mines from the Legion. I'm seeing some barbed wire from the Aruni, and of course doors that will be locked up. Info denial from Nade's Mozzie. And if we see a rush attempted here from FLUXO, JV is... well, he should be in position not too far away with a Nitro cell.
See Dot screen peeking right now for the intel game. Could be a line scan on window, Blackbeard planting in the door. There's C4 plant denial, but that's really it. If they're in the right position, it could work out. Nade is ready in archives in case they go for it.
Of course, you can't see through the Sens walls with the Warden. Furia, do they have information on what's going down? Because, well, there's no bulletproof camera. But in goes Dots. He's about to meet Felipox. It's a Blackbeard versus the Wamai. As Felipox tries to drop, Dots will shut him down.
Off his control. It's not Archives going to cutting off that bomb site in half. So Nathan Archives is very isolated. No one can really help him, but KZ's at a fountain. But they're stuck in these corner positions.
KZ does on the long angle, spray down one, but Loban has snuck into the objective and cleaned house. Furia now need to fight back as JV will eventually trade the last man standing. That Nitro cell could easily deny the plant, but he's being covered off from the hallway. He gets able to cross for a brief moment, but Dodez will shut him down, and FLUXO W7M starts strong in the first round.
Very strong indeed. I mean, the saving grace there is actually Loban on the Sens, kind of throws out the roly-polies and cuts off Armory from Archives' line of sight. And it's very important that he doesn't do anything for a very long time. It's going to be that Blackbeard line push inside of office. They apply pressure saying, hey, look over here, we're dangerous. But then Loban, much later in the round, jumps in Archives' window finally and goes for a backstab, taking down KC and Fountain. And that's what opens up everything, allowing Blackbeard to walk inside and establish down that case, that diffuser. So we see it right now. FLUXO already off the rip here in the very first round, playing a very sound attack, applying pressure from many different directions, and at the same timing. 3, 2, 1, let's push. And if you're ever a bit unsure about your communication, getting Lion on the board helps you. That's a natural 3-2-1 counter when that Lion can start stopping those defenders from moving.
Furia are a team that sometimes start slow, sometimes start strong. FLUXO W7M, I've been really impressed by them so far. A lot of their matches, they've lost the first map and then went on to win the series. We saw that happen against Oxygen, we saw that happen against SSG. They've really faced a lot of grueling 3-map series, and they've looked just fine through it. So even if Border ends up going the way of Furia, of course, Furia are the ones who picked this map, then I wouldn't be too scared for FLUXO W7M. I think no matter what happens, we're going to get a really banging 3-map series here, and I should sure hope so.
Now, if you think of Furia, I'm going to say back in their prime, back when they're W7M and winning every single tournament known to man, back to back to back, the majors, the SI, etc. They were known as a defensive-sided team that would lash out and go for early openings every single round. What we just saw there in the opening where FLUXO just won is they're actually not lashing out at all. They were holding back, waiting for things. Look at this, aggression punished by Volps! A beautiful read! The Solis sees that there's something happening outside, but the DMR, of course, much stronger in the long-range engagement, shutting down the aggression hurts immediately. And when you do this to Furia, this early in a big game, that can affect the mental. Oh, I shouldn't be doing what my natural instincts are telling me? You're gonna start doubting yourself a bit more.
Yeah. And it's classic from Herds. He's such an aggressive player.
He's the Lion.
He is. And he tends to get shut down. When he does, it's hard for him to get his head back in the game. KZ inside of CCTV now feels tempted to also go for a bit of a run out, a bit of aggression. Philippox is the one to lash out for Furia first. Nate is also trapped in a bit of an awkward spot in Office with the triple wall already opened up by FLUXO W7M and a Blackbeard on the other side. He's gonna get stabbed in the back by Palu. A second kill for the old guard with the DMR. And the pressure begins to mount for Furia.
KZ to fall back and try and find a teammate upstairs to Armory Archives. Bombs that is beneath him, but they gotta fight it out. Injured to the wall again. JB leaving just KC left alive on top middle.
It's a dream for FLUXO. These first 2 rounds have been impeccable, untouchable. KZ, a little bit of damage through the wall, but 2 can play at that game. And Loban shuts him down without breaking a sweat.
So we spoke about how the best team today have to play for the adaptations, that flexible play style. Furia right now in the first 2 rounds are playing very spread out around the map, very isolated. Maybe play a bit closer together and get more crossfires established. They're losing the 50-50s, and because they want to play a little bit greedy. They want every single area of the map control. They want the East stairs, they want Office, they want CCTV, they want Break Room. Sometimes you have to cut your loss and say, we cannot play everywhere on the map and have the crossfires. And right now, it's FLUXO W7M winning the individual gunfights and again being the better team.
Yeah, they're 2v1ing them as well.
They
Look
are.
What happened on Office. The Blackbeard is creating a great distraction. Palu can take out one player on the long angle and then use the alleviated crossfire to move in, find a backstab onto the second player. Looks like W7M already looking like they're right on the money here. They've come into Border very well prepared. I know that the guys in the pregame were speculating, Laxing and Foxe were saying, we don't know if it'll really come down to the maps. These teams have played each other so many times in the past. What it really will come down to is the mid-game adaptations, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something we've had a chance to see yet because we're only 2 rounds deep. But Furia, once they start to get a read on the FLUXO playstyle, we'll see them bite back, I guarantee it.
So while the map might not matter, it's about how you play that map, and Furia starting slow could of course be a small concern. We're actually seeing FLUXO engage the crowd right now, clapping for the crowd, saying, let's cheer us on together. While Furia will sit there, looking at each other, thinking, guys, we're down 0-2, what do we need to change to bring it back? Because again, if this is the last dance, there is a lot more on the line as your goodbye.
If it is the last dance, then what does it mean for these players? Because while this is the greatest team we've ever seen in history, a lot of these players don't necessarily take the cake as the greatest player in history.
No, it's very much a team effort, and I think play style especially, how they play together, how in sync they've been throughout the times, the finals. It's also why seeing them lose the rounds they have so far here on Border, it has been a surprising factor, because it has been them being caught off guard, not having that synchronization, FLUXO being a step ahead. So just for the people watching right now, apologies with a technical pause for a short moment.
Wow.
I can't tell you
love
why
this.
because I don't know, but we're figuring
That's
it out.
fine. We'll be back into it before too long. Such a beautiful stage. Ian and Milos on the intro before were talking about how we've got all of these beautiful flowers skirting around the stage, adorning it. It's gorgeous. One of my favorite stages we've ever had in Rainbow Six Esports, and we've had quite a few at this point, 10 years into the competition at our 10th Six Invitational. So many events, so many champions have come and gone, so many prodigies
Yeah.
came and went. And the era of Siege in 2026 is so different to what we saw in 2016. Completely different game.
I sat down.
And now, with FLUXO W7M taking a 2-round lead, oh man, it's not a great day to be Furia. You see Igor taking a seat behind the players, just having to relax, keep his squad ready, keep his squad chilled out. Furia have been in this position 100, 1,000 times before. FLUXO W7M, they still have plenty of main stage experience, even though it has been a hot minute. Of course, let's not forget that 1.5 years ago, Dodes, Loban, Dots, and Volps were major champions in Montreal.
History, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, look,
You were saying how different the game was, from now to 2016. I sat down with Stompin for the content piece called Generations, where you have an old man, that was me, with a very young, not rookie, but first or second year player. We had Ashenon, with Canadian, with myself, we had Stompin, and we're going through clips of my time as a pro player in 2016, and Stompin was like, trying to hold back laughter, be like, yo, you all suck, like, what are you doing, right? He was barely born, he was like 8 years old back then. He was barely born.
that's unreal.
Now we saw Dots locked in the strats, by the way, the strat book open, going through the pages.
As he should be.
I love how there's so many different approaches to a technical and tactical timeout, just how you spend your time. For some players, it's about emotions, either maintaining composure or building confidence.
You see some players meditate.
We see meditation, players like SSG are very known for that. We have some people, one tap king right there, apparently. We have some players like the IGLs very often, the in-game leaders, very much be strat-oriented. Or maybe it's even taking notes like, okay, we noticed this in round 1, how can we abuse that later on?
Yeah.
Because Siege is all about keeping a 3-minute kind of backlog of what happened in that previous round, and then only take out the most important details.
Yeah.
And when you see that bomb site the second time around, then you gotta go back and be like, what happened again? Or that was these small things.
You've got to just remove everything. Wow, we've got so many. We got Dockerby, we had Nook, we even had the hostage. Wow, the outfits of everyone here in the venue are insane. I'm loving it. Looks like we might be getting back into it very shortly. What are you looking at? There?
What are we looking at there?
What do you got there, Logan? Don't know what
I
that
think it's a monitor wipe, maybe. Even it looked like for like
nice.
dedusting or.
Yeah, if he gets a little bit too excited and spits all over the monitor during
that,
some
yeah.
call-outs. Oh, we've got a blitz shield.
That's it. That's my.
Oh.
Oh, that's my kind of guy right there.
Phenomenal. Oh, the cosplayers are so
IQ
good
next
here.
door, yeah.
It's like Palu's having a chat with one of the admins.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about how this FLUXO roster, when they were W7M a year and a half ago, raised the major trophy in Montreal. It does make Palu the only player in this game to never raise a trophy. He's not played in a Pro League Finals Grand Final.
No, you're right.
He never raised a major trophy. He's never raised an EWC trophy. And of course, never a Six Invitational, despite being in 3 Grand Finals. Copenhagen, Jönköping, both majors. And let's not forget, the last time the Six Invitational was in Paris in 2021.
That's true.
He's the best player to never win anything.
For the longest time, that was a duo statement with Nesk and Palu in Liquid.
Well, yes.
And then when Nesk retired and Palu went here, well, didn't Palu went here first, then Nesk retired, but either way, when they split.
It makes me question, can Palu do what Nesk could not? Nesk regarded as one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
That beast of a legendary player from Brazil who in his very first season in Pro League made it to the Grand Finals with, at the time, Black Dragons back in 2017.
Yeah.
Brazil had only had a Pro League for a few months, and already this team out of Brazil is beating some of the best European and North American teams, and they gave you guys a run for your money as well in that Grand Final. you had to sub in your 6th player
Yeah.
just to take down Black Dragons.
Little Falco and KS switcheroo back in the day. They then changed the rule book right after, making that pretty much impossible. And you had to share the same keybinds and setup and mouse and keyboard and all that kind of stuff. And
talk about how the game has changed. Like, oh, here we go. Sam Fish is in the house. But talk about how the game has changed. You brought in a 5th player, or 6th player rather, just because he knew a certain strat with mute jammers that nobody else could do.
That's it. On Bank, Falco was like, I can play open area and I can play. And we go, what do you need? He goes, nothing. No reinforcements? No. Should we roam with you? No. I roam alone. And he would just 1v5 basically.
And he did the same on Consulate as well with these mute jammers in the basement that would work through the floor to protect lobby. I used those mute jammers for years in ranked.
Everyone
afterwards.
did, man. They were default mute jammers after the fact because they were so efficient. They were so good.
Good old back in the day, of course, Inesk has just recently retired because then actually, ironically, the current Black Dragons roster knocked him out of contention for the Six Invitational.
Irony, huh?
The irony.
How things start and how things they end.
Yeah.
But no matter what you think about Inesk, the player, whether he was like, I don't know, not a real GOAT or he was the GOAT or whatever, he was one of the biggest reasons why Brazil and LATAM got put on the map back when they did. Nesk has done probably more for the region than any other singular player has.
Without a doubt.
Of course, Raza with his co-streams, of course, covering the events and whatnot. Now,
in terms of being an active player?
Yeah, and before Brazil was even, as you said, officially in Tier 1 Pro League, it was Nesk who got the 1v5 in Oregon against Pain Gaming. It was Nesk who go to international tournaments as like the star player. It was his story for such a long time. And he was the best player in the world for many of those years.
For a player that has played so long and was, older for an esports player, and we don't have any 30-year-olds here at the Six Invitational in the playing.
You're right.
For example, the oldest player at the SI is Canadian, who's just a few months away from turning 30. But Nesk was in his late 20s when he retired, and he was still on the front line, entry fragging.
Yeah.
He was still good at it. It was just his time to move on and focus on his family. And now, of course, his OG duo that we always talked about, Palu, he's moved on to a new team. Here he is with FLUXO W7M. Also never having raised a hammer, never even having a major trophy, never in a Pro League trophy like Nesk himself did achieve back in 2017. Was it 2018? I forget.
I think it was...
It was Atlantic City.
Yeah, that must have been 2017. Must have been. So, yeah, actually, it's true. The...
I can confirm, guys, we're getting back into the game.
Are you confirming that?
The fist pumps are coming through.
That's the signal, yeah? Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, fist pumps. Man, Igor's got a very stressful job.
I was going to say, he looks a bit stressed today. But I believe he wants to speak to the boys, maybe?
Yeah, there it is. Time for a tactical timeout for Furia.
Tá, bom que vocês já sabem. Ó, quem vai fazer pixel, eu quero que pegue o Castle. Quem não vai fazer pixel, eu quero trap ela e torne com arame. Esquece biriba.
Ah, ela eu já tô de arame, guys.
Qualquer coisa, tu faz esse Varden, mas faz de 12 aí pra gente tá de boa. E qualquer coisa, Pox, você pega a Denari, você põe só a da banana lá pra gente e o resto você fica segurando ali pra tu na leste pra tu ficar grandão. Ó, eu quero o Castle na janela do cimento, na rádio, na porta do fundos e eu acho que na janela banana. Pra eles quebrar isso tudo, eles vão estar bem fodidos. Holdem a posição de vocês e tá de boa. Se tiver mais pro fim do round, vocês podem fazer o cruzado ali pra fonte, um pouco mais, esquivar um pouquinho.
Eu acho que a gente muda o ban do nome de terceiro e ban de Twitch.
Fecha a ban. E aí a gente joga com esses três, nos três bombas funcionando.
It's obviously a very early tag timeout from Igor, but I think getting ahead of the problem is very, very wise. Border can flip very quickly, can get ugly very quickly, and if this is the pace that FLUXO have set this early, you have to counter it. I heard some Ella, some castle, some concrete words being thrown around.
Maybe a cap can?
Oh, the EDDs.
I heard very much traps, a lot of traps.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right call. We're very much in a meta at the moment because it's so much about gap finding on the attacking side. The defense loves to lean
Gotta
into
close
traps.
it, man. That's what he's doing. Concrete. We gotta pour some concrete, close some gaps.
FLUXO W7M, we've casted a lot of them this event so far, and you know how they get around those traps? They play a lot of Brava and Twitch. And even Flores. Yeah. All of the special drone squad makes their appearance, they send those in, they clear everything out, and then they just do what they were going to do anyway.
That's literally it. And there's just something about how efficient they are at finding those gaps time and time again. Now, Furia, we can talk operators, we can talk about the setup, the traps, etc. I want to see some more established crossfires. Like I said, choose which area of the map you truly want to fight for, hard hold those positions, and either fall back or fight together. not the whole let's play every single area isolated in the 1v2s or 1v1s. Because like we said, when one player falls on border, you lose a lot of map control, you can't refrag, and it makes the rest of the round even more challenging with every single death. So you want to try and trade equally across the board. When a defender dies, you kill an attacker. Now you're 4v4, so on and so forth. That's going to be a big win condition. So look out for the trading game here from the side of Furia.
So I have a translation of the tactical timeout from our lovely Maria. Pick Castle, Ella, Thorn, and Barbed Wire. Felipox, pick Denari, and put in Banana and hold East. I want Castle in Radio, Cement, and Banana Door, so they will be very effed. Felipox, let's change Nomad ban and ban Twitch instead.
Ah, so they got the read.
Next round, they can actually ban out the Twitch potentially.
Interesting. So Nomad, of course, the runouts, but instead, if they're gonna play the Tributor, like you said, those pesky drone operators can be denied instead. Grim Beast going out, and now we see Hertz falling back. You see, not playing for his life solo in CC 1v5, falling back towards a teammate that's closer by instead.
Entry from the Sen supported by the Zafir, who takes a little bit of damage. Dots in a slightly off-plan position to try and avoid the bangs through the smoke. Amidst the chaos, though, Furia look for an opening, but Dodes is shut down by KZ. The Ella comes to life inside a CC, and FLUXO W7M have to pick the pieces back up again. Volps caught between two players, can't find his target, and now Dots unable to get that diffuser down. Finally has a sigh of relief after that one kill, but he's caught on camera, and he's so separated from his teammate of Palu on the other side of the map. And now the soon-to-be father is the last man standing. The Lion of Furia steps up and holds the fort.
Such a good rotation, giving up CCTV, not dying in that 1v5 to make Armory weaker, but fall back and then retake it later on. You saw there at the end in the 2v3, Paolo was so desperate to get inside of Armory, cut the bomb set in half, and enable his teammate to go for a plant attempt. But he was fighting CC the entire time because they never gave up control fully. Furia, Igor, great read, great adaptation. Of course, they hit their shots, and now they got a game plan on their hands because they said before, next round, don't ban the Nomad, ban the Twitch to enable this style more and more and more.
It tells you a lot about what Fury originally intended to do. When they were going to ban that Nomad, it was lots of runouts, lots of aggression. Remember round 2, Herds went for a spawn pick.
How did that go?
He saw a player droning. Didn't work out. Fury have thought, okay, we're not going to go for aggressive runouts. We don't need to ban that Nomad. It's a waste. Get rid of the Twitch. Keep leading into the traps.
Very important to note here, Sense got changed. I think it's like a year ago now, maybe more, maybe less.
Can't see through it.
You can't see through it as a smoke grenade, so I'm sure some people go, oh, they had a BP camera and archives, they could see the plant go down, etc.
Can't see through.
Nobody can see through. Glass can't either. Oh, we actually have a hostage here.
Look, does not want to give him back.
So when Sense dies, it changed how that attack was structured because now you will get red ping without the wall, and that's where the fear of the wall bangs are coming through. They had to go deep.
But we did see a real clue of how FLUXO want to attack in that round. It's a little bit everywhere all at once. Even if they do want to go for an Archives rush, they're going to have pressure CC. They're going to try and distract the remaining Furia players. As we see, the bans have rolled on through. The Twitch, as Igor suggested for Furia. On the flip side, the Castle. So FLUXO doesn't want to give Furia the ability to lock up and change the architecture of the map.
It's funny because if I had to pick out one area that was a big weakness last round, it was the CCTV window was castle barricaded and they never opened it. So in that late round, when Casey's in the middle of CC, not possible had the castle barricade been opened, giving Paolo a way to help his teammate. So I think the castle ban is very wise. But now we're going to see the Brother Flores in substitution of the Twitch ban.
He's checking for traps. He's looking out. Is there a Kapkan? No. Is there? What is he looking for on the ceiling? I don't know if it's a Valkyrie.
Fenrir.
Perhaps a Fenrir Dreadmine. And so with the Twitch being banned out, of course, FLUXO can still lean into the Brava for drone denial.
He's so sure there's something here. Oh, there it is.
There it is. He found the Dreadmine eventually. Talking about other operators left unbanned, the Nomad, which originally Furia was going to ban, that has made an appearance. So Furia's going to have a little bit of restricted mobility.
Does mean that the pace will change as well, right? FLUXO a bit slow in the first minute, 30 seconds. They got to spin the Flores and the Brava first and then work together. What we see often, let's say Ryan, for example, is you start playing these drone operators, your team doesn't keep that in mind, and the game very quickly becomes like a 2v5 or 3v4 because you're still spawn droning. So Dots and Blackbeard downstairs makes an appearance. They know Eastness is clear. There's no danger, there's no threat. It's free map control here from inside of FLUXO, slowly tightening the net around the entire building. KZ under a lot of fire, will survive and fall back towards the bomb site, letting his teammate with more health upstairs play his spot instead.
We still have a whole 4 players upstairs for Furia. Very solid hold. Volt's now making an entrance. Able for his Blackbeard, but Loban has taken down FLUXO. Managed to sneak up the metal stairs somehow, and here comes the execute. Upstairs, FLUXO flush them out one by one. Still JV and Herds try to hold on for as long as they can up the top. But there are lurkers down on the ground floor, and Volps has finally finished off KZ.
Furia playing the clock, they're falling back, then retaking top floor again, playing the entirety of the positioning game right now on the low fire. Dots with the case in CCTV. There's the pipe, mind you. He has the roam clear. He also has to be the planter later on. Has to stay alive and go for a different location.
30 seconds, time is ticking away. Nade on the site is trying to hide for as long as he can, but with Herd still upstairs, FLUXO not able to go for a plant down below. This is going to be really desperate, you're right.
Creeping in.
Gonna have to go through Workshop, and Dots is looking to plant in the smoke. If Nade gets on his gadget, he will be able to see through. Surely there's a spray that could come through from JV, but he's too late. The plant goes down, and now JV is surrounded, and FLUXO W7M collapse.
FLUXO once again. They have a strong plan A. Fight for top floor control, get kills if they want to surrender those to us. If they fall back, we will flip it. They took top floor. We saw Dots on the BB go deep in CCTV, get shot to less than half health, and then go, I can't fight anymore. Guys, the roam clear's off. Yes, we want to get that final kill in Armory, but it's not worth it. Let's just go for a plan attempt. And they just do it. They sprint from CCTV into East Stairs and walk into the bomb site. And the only person with the smokes was ready, waiting for the Blackbeard. It was orchestrated ahead of time. Communication is super clean and very much foresight in these strategies.
A lot of individual moments that just worked out for FLUXO there.
Definitely.
The collapse on the top floor was impeccable. Herds, we can see in that clip, was completely distracted. When the execute was coming through, he wanted to deny the plan vertically. I want to know what happened for JV on the Tachenka. He had a red ping. He knew exactly where that plant was going down. But instead, he tried to fight the player on the workshop door. If he just swung as wide as he could and sprayed through the smoke, maybe the plant would have been denied.
The funny thing about operators like the Tachenka is that there might actually be a very easy lineup that denies that plant spot without exposing himself to the guy on the blue door. It's very possible, but we wouldn't know it. And I don't think JV knew it either because he swung the door instead, right? And that's the thing about Tachenka. He hasn't fully been figured out, has a lot of potential left up their sleeves. That's why we see Smoke being banned actually a fair bit at this event, because Smoke has been figured out. You know all the lineups.
A little surprised we didn't see a Smoke instead of the Tachenka last round. It might have led it to it being a little bit of a different story. Timing could be perfect here for Loban. He's been so on fire already. 8 kills to his name in just 5 rounds as JV is quickly shut down.
Again, the communication, the droning costumes, forcing him back, red ping for fake pressure. And you know, as you say, Prime Furia, they don't fall back because of red ping. They will fight their ground. Look at this, 2v1. The timing is perfect. If that's a bait, that's genius. He sprinted into CCTV with the sound cue while Nade held the metal stairs, knowing, look at be called too late.
If Nade wasn't there, then KZ's a dead man. Loban, though, early on the lurk, but quickly shut down. I think Furia will happily take the 1-for-1 trade. Of course, they still have his stairs control. FLUXO is holding on for as long as he can. He's the tuber out.
Yeah. Mind you, though this is on the Thatcher, which hard counters Kaid. Kaid dying for Deimos? Oh, this is worth it if you're on the defensive side. And also Timer, half the round burned away. FLUXO again, a little bit slower pace right now. Loban is that spearhead. When he does die, we need to replace him with a different injured player. But who's going to do that? Paolo is Grim. 5 Grim Bees in pockets. So important. Volps just spent the last Togepi. Now they can aggress up. But as I say that, Paolo goes down to Felipox. This injury, it has no teeth.
If FLUXO W7M cannot find a way to clear out that deadly player on East Stairs. And so instead, they try and focus up on KZ. But he is so good at holding these hard-to-kill positions. Sneaking through from East Stairs into 90. Dots will find one, but KZ quick on the trade. Volps has finally shut down Herds, who I think was in offices, and that's going to force a rotation from FLUXO. He goes back towards the bomb site. Tellers. KZ has that diffuser. It's locked down on 90. Volps is going to get access to all the defenders' cameras now.
That's smart. Get a bit more information. No time to drone. No drones left really either. They still think there's a room upstairs, surprisingly enough. We know that Casey's waiting right around this corner.
Casey needs his kill, and he does find it. Dodos did not have time to drone, and Volps now needs to refrag, pushing for the play onto the Warden. He goes for the run out, and the Nitro Cell will take him down, but he knows exactly where FLUXO is because that cameras have been hacked, and FLUXO just walked straight past the default.
7 seconds.
Now Volps has all the information he needs.
3 seconds.
The time is not on his side. He needs to go
1
deep
second.
for the kill, but FLUXO with the DMR holds the line for Furia.
No rotate between the sites. Only one way in. That's the door. FLUXO, he's the IGL, the mastermind, the backbone of this roster. He will lock down the round for his team. Furia, again, slowly figuring things out, how to approach it up top floor, where to fight, when to fight. And while Lobin got a beautiful intro kill off the drone working customs, he went even further and then got punished. And that's the thing about Border. Border is maybe one of the only maps where Lobin going for another aggressive play after already finding the opening is not a bad idea. Had we played Bank, had we played Consulate, had we played Clubhouse, you'd probably go, Lobin, you're kind of trolling because that's too risky. But this is Border. You have to keep up that aggression, that confidence. And Lobin, he loves the middle stairs. Every game we've cast, he will find a way into that staircase. He will get a kill or two.
He's looking for a gap constantly. And that's why we keep seeing these traps being brought. Igor said in his tactical timeout, a lot of barbed wire, a lot of Ella.
Yeah.
We're even seeing the Thorn now, which was also mentioned. Herds and KZ are hard sticking this operators. That's 2 sets of barbed wire. And then 4 Thorn traps, 3 Grishmot mines. Now we have the extra layer, information from the Echo.
A lot of people are gonna go, but James, barbed wire is useless.
Oh, not anymore, it's not.
That's the thing, right? With the Thorn, really strong. You can guarantee a lot of damage or a kill. But even without the Thorn, barbed wire on the middle staircase will make no attacker go there. The presence of a barbed wire changes the outcome of the round. Not having a barbed wire means they will go there now. When there's barbed wire, they won't go there, so you think, oh, it's useless because they never punched it.
Perceived pressure.
Exactly.
It's about being able to alleviate your anxiety on one side. Oh,
Okay.
KZ, give it a rest. Dodes, what did he do to deserve that? A spray drive by the barricade, and it doesn't get much better here for FLUXO.
Yeah, they're using the FLUXO aggression, right? The Yokai drone scouting for intel, it counters the Monty, counters the injuries, enables the spawn peek, and Dot is dead as well. This round is falling apart. That's that Furia aggression that we know and love, and it's why they wanted the Nomad ban originally.
And now FLUXO W7M, well, nice little love tap from Palu as FLUXO will go down 2v4. He needs to reclaim that diffuser. Now, Pox still has a few Yokai drones that he can just look at, but he can't actually move them and use them to get more aggressive for Furia. I think 4 players up. This is pretty much locked in. How does Furia fumble this? I don't really see a way.
Has to be a bit of a throw here. You gotta give them their ones. And Lobin is alive. He's the master of finding those gunfights. He's fishing downstairs, up the bathroom, heads towards office. Here comes the track exposing both his and Sentry's location, which is not going to be right above him.
Sentry's ages away. It does give info.
Fountain.
Yeah, he's on solid floor, so there's no ability to go for a shot through that ceiling. Palu's just baiting for a kill. They don't know that CCTV is actually clear at the moment because KZ is holding onto his position with the shield. That's the advantage as well. I believe they brought that on the Echo. Perhaps the Sentry and KZ can use it to continue fighting.
Yeah.
Another kill for him. And Furia have pretty much guaranteed this round. It was a 3-1 start for FLUXO W7M. And now Lobin has to clutch a 1v4. Otherwise, Furia will tie the score for seconds. He actually, like you said, has a grenade. He could take out the shield at that 90 position. KZ's going to fall back. 1v2, this is starting to look a little sketchy.
It is. If only that grenade went out before your teammate died first, right? Thornchip has to push through, but one step backwards, the Thorn catches you. Barbed wire on the ground as well, and it's why the barbed wire Thorn can be so lethal.
Furia have brought it back to an even score at the end of the half after a 3-1 deficit. They did use a tactical timeout very early, but it was clearly worth it. And now Igor has another chance to talk to the squad while they're doing the second set of operator bans.
Yeah, you're gonna go, guys, ban A, ban B, now let's talk strategy. Because you only get these, 30 plus seconds or so. So Thatcher and Clash get traded out. The fact that Thatcher gets banned away could very well be some trickeronis here.
Thatcher ban is a bit suspicious.
Could be a Kaida 2-brow response.
No. I was wondering.
Oh, is it
You ban the
C4s?
Thatcher, you ban the Glaz. That is like the new meta, the cheese meta for these attacks, right? These rushes. You have the Glaz, you smoke things up, you plant ideally behind a shield, and the Thatcher EMPs those C4s. That's not in play for the rest of this
That's
half.
a good shot, actually. We've seen that a fair bit of times. The same thing with the Goyo ban and Clash ban, right? What does that stop? It stops the rush, it stops the push. So very much goes both ways.
Furia trying to enable the rush by banning out Clash and Goyo.
Exactly.
Also trying to deny
Stop the rush. Playing the same game on different sides.
FLUXO using those bans on 2 less banned operators does open the floodgates for all of the other power-ups.
It does. It very much does. I mean, we gotta talk about all the shields are in,
3
right?
big shields.
Yeah, Blitz, Blackbeard, and Monty, the
your
Grim, the Deimos.
Ying, Deimos, Dokkaebi.
Literally everything. It's almost a matter of like, guys, which really strong attacker should we bring this round? Because everything is wide open.
Well, they're not really leaning into the cheese, are they?
No, they're not.
Monty, oh, the Monty's going to stick, but no Ying, which is available. I guess with the Warden still up, it's a bit more dangerous to go for anything too flash or smoke-centric.
And they're gonna play the Warden probably every single round, if not close to, because they gotta respect the possibility of it.
You'd probably expect this to be a Warden or Mirror ban come through in the next 3 rounds.
Definitely could be.
But of course, we've got a whole lot of Siege to play before we even get there.
But before, Laxing, I think, has a call-in for us, James.
Let's see what Lax has to say.
Loading new mag.
Or do we not?
Perhaps not.
That's all right. Laxing, look, when you're ready, mate, get in here. Otherwise, we'll just keep on chilling. Keep on watching as Furia start to mount up a little bit of pressure.
Untied is certain. Now, Furia not known as the biggest shield team known to man. Both in terms of playing against it, also playing with it.
Hollow goes back.
But it has to be brought here. Prime is the lead.
My question is, how's Furia going to deal with the mirror windows? Loban's still holding his position in the hallway at 90. Volps as well with that DMR. It's so good for the long angles. Plus the mirror window makes East control much less impactful here, even once Furia get it. Finally, a nice big shot from Palu as he hunts down KZ below. Out of nowhere, Furia have found an opening, and FLUXO have very quickly shut it back down again.
Yeah, issue with the Monty, right? You can get in the battle, but the teammates behind you can't just walk in that same door into those exact same crossfires. So you gotta problem solve. Step by step, C4! Nicely tossed by Palu. Leaving his 2 attackers left, Felibugs and Monty, the 2 supportive operators of Brava and the Monty. Felibugs, the only real gun in the server on the attacking side, has to do all the hunting and all the roam clearing.
Oh, the barbed is surely going to kill him somehow. Leapox survives, only takes a bit of damage, but he has the debuff from the Thorn now. And Loban is hanging out down below with this Nitro Cell primed and ready. He's going to keep it for now. Oh, beautiful wallbang from Nade with the pistol. Has a perfect read onto Volps. Now it's just going to be a plant attempt. Surely this isn't possible. Loban down below.
Boom.
And a nuclear C4 shuts down the push from Furia.
Yeah.
Leapox has everything to do.
One step ahead now.
One
in the very
v3
beginning.
with the DMR. Needs to isolate these one by one as he knows exactly where Dots is on the Warden. Info from a yellow ping, but Dots will swing to win. And FLUXO W7M retake the lead.
It has just been a matter of being one step ahead. I don't know what else to say. FLUXO were ready for the Monty, ready with the verticality, and understanding as long as you establish very strong crossfire and play around the mirror window, they can't do much about it. Fury are being forced into picking things apart strategically, which I'm not saying it's a weakness of theirs, but it's not their biggest strength. So very much a good game of adaptation.
You talk about strategy.
We're
Look
deep
at
in there.
Volps at the moment, deep into the strat book, getting ready to set up for the next round. And I believe it is now time to hear from our lovely analyst, Laxing.
All right, are you guys able to hear me now? All right, I want to talk about that last round, Pengu. I love that you talked about, you know, they played slow, they delayed that time, they played off into those layers, and that's what we need to see. That's where they failed on their attacks. That's why Furia was so ready for it, because they were just repeating the exact same attacks. And we talk about those stylistic matchups. This is going to be so important for the side of FLUXO to make these work, but not only make them work, when they readdress them for the next time they go back to that site, they have to do something different, or Furia's going to have a response. But just like we saw there, they played off those layers. They waited to make Furia force their own hand. They have to be ready to switch that tempo at a given's notice.
Thank you so much, Laxing. And I'm right there with you. I think both of us having that former player experience have seen Border one too many times to figure out what the weaknesses really are. Now, in terms of adaptations, Furia struggled with the mirror window in particular. It's being brought out again.
They're not bringing Ashe, they're not bringing Kali,
and they're doubling down with Kaid as well, right? So I feel like FLUXO very much recognized they struggled with this. Meanwhile, Furia is showing us maybe we didn't as much as you think that we did. It's that, or of course, plan B, circumvent the mirror window. If it's somewhere facing, let's say, armory portion, you go archives. But there are 2 mirror windows on the mirror, which means if they spread those out evenly, you can cover vast majority of the important areas of the map.
Yeah, I think it's a bit scary here for Furia.
90.
They also don't have any clear counters for the Aruni gates. You're not bringing the Brava. The Thorn has proven to be a real struggle, and against this Blackbeard, that smoke is going to be really powerful as well. So Furia need to make sure that they find a way to crack through this defense, whether it's by subverting some of this control where a lot of the util is stacked and looking for a gap elsewhere, or just addressing it head on. That's going to be hard because they don't have clear-cut util to address a lot of it.
That's why I think it's taking a bit longer to get started, because they really have to, as you say, James, measure 2 or 3 times before cutting once. These pushes, when they come, have to be very clean, and they're constantly rotating. Soft mirror in the downstairs, so the call has been made, guys. Soft mirror, Force can clear it out, perhaps, but the way in, not possible. Instead, the soft wall is reinforced as well, so you can't get in there. The Kite Claw looking for it. The issue is that Kite Claw, if it's not right here, it could be the floor above. I don't see it in this room.
I think it's in the room above.
I think so too.
Have a look for that. Nade is now trying to nade it out.
They don't know where it is at all.
Just getting completely counter-stratted.
Guys, it's not here, right? It's not here, boys.
Where is that mirror? Where is that Kite Claw? It's going to have to be the floor above.
They're being locked out by a single Kite Claw.
JB thinks it's right there in the corner, so he's going to use a Selma on it. He might be right, but meanwhile, if in doubt, frag it out. Herds has snuck in from the backline and found a big double kill. Somehow Nate is looking for a plant as well, as Herds has found a 3rd one. Finally shut down. Loben is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here for FLUXO W7M. But at the drop of a hat, Furia have found the plant into the post plants, and they bite back hard. FLUXO in a 1v4, and even Loben with 12 kills cannot find the round. The hero of the day is Herds for Furia.
That's ridiculous. Strategically, completely locked out by a Kite Claw. They're grenading, their floor is shooting thing in. It's gotta be some here, right? It's not. It's the trickery of some of these operators. And this is honestly, you see big smiles from Igor. We stalled the round. We messed up, we got stuck, and yet we just do what we do best. 3-2-1 push.
Strategically, that round was so GG.
It was.
Furia were absolutely cooked. They had nothing going for them. They were using Selmas without
on soft floor.
On soft floor, because they assumed that the Electroclaw must be in that corner. Like, that's how desperate they were. And then Herds is like, you know what, maybe I'll just go and kill everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what he did. He walks in, takes a smoke out first, watches his own flank, a second pre-fire, gets noticed on the Thorn, on the flanker, and then a vertical hipfire. Like, it's ridiculous.
Hipfire through the floorboards, by the way.
The second they take down the smoke, who can then toss in a smoke grenade into default plant spot, BB rushes that bomb site and starts planting. They know there's a gap now.
Oh my god. Cosplay this event is
so many as well.
And a lot of niche skins being cosplayed.
Now, FLUXO W7M, when we cast them in phase 1, phase 2 this tournament, they were kind of like the budget Fury. Like they're lashing out, the spawn peeking, they're running their enemies. They're heavily playing into strategy for this one. That's the curveball that we wanted to see.
Quite a 180.
Yeah, this is not like their current. I mean, that's FLUXO, right? That's what they do usually. A little cheeky peek. And like Laxing said, changing the pace. Furia have to figure out that pace, but if FLUXO keep changing it, it's very hard to feel that in the server, what kind of tempo they're going for. And we're gonna see Nate on a second round of Monty, which the first time around wasn't necessarily the solution they were needing.
And of course, with Loban popping off, you give him a license to make aggressive plays. However, it won't always work. Filippo's gonna go deep.
He's just gonna plant.
He saw that he killed the Solar, so he knows they won't have info into the planter. An aggressive C4 from DOS, but Filippox hears the rip and goes around to find the kill. Oh, it's genius from Filippox. He's taking matters into his own hands, and he still stays on the side. Now he's slowed everything down. He knows Filippox has pretty much read the round to perfection. FLUXO have to get aggressive, and one by one they fall. Filippox is the IGL, and he leads the charge from the front for Furia.
They took down the Solar's main door and thought, that's the win con. If we're playing that strat, that's how we figure out when and where the planet is going down. So if we rush right now, they won't know a damn thing. And then Filippox plays it beautifully, jukes the C4, wide swings, wins the individual fight up against the Bandit. And it's funny because that's 2 rounds of Monty, where the Monty has been the least valuable operator in the round for the attackers. Yet, one time they won, one time they lost. Whoa. You'll see it here if you have sharp eyes. They banned the Monty.
Wow.
They banned the Monty. Mirror ban, not surprised at all.
FLUXO take their tactical. What do you got to say, Norris?
Oh, too late maybe?
Oh, I think that it was. I can see from the monitors right now that the round has actually started, so it looks like we didn't have the tactical timeout called in time, so it's now been cancelled. Ego should have his mic up, but he's not talking to the team. Oh, no. Here we are.
I think we're playing on.
Are we going to pause the game?
Might be a rehost.
So we're gonna rehost into the tactical timeout. So we're gonna have, I believe, a technical pause first, and then we'll do the tactical timeout.
Okay. That is just to speak to the operator bans there. The mirror ban, very expected. That was gonna be like my #1 priority by far, if I'm on the attacking side of Furia. The Monty ban, from the outside looking in, looked completely useless as a non-factor. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't think Furia were playing around it. Like, they're playing the operator, but they're not structuring the attack around the operator, which normally you would do with a Monty. So I feel like banning it away, 1, will make Furia stronger, because now Nate gets a real operator, but also 2, did you really feel any pressure from the Monty if you're on the defending side?
And you've always got Blackbeard and Blitz as well if you want another shield.
And they can do, obviously, Blitz and Blackbeard can't do what Monty does. But if Monty doesn't do anything, then you're better off banning the Blackbeard or the Blitz because they do something else.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me that FLUXO have essentially gone for all 3 operator bans targeting the Execute with Glaz, the Thatcher, and now the Monty. They haven't gone for anything like the Dokkaebi. Wow, proximity alarm. The Smoke Elite as well.
You know, I thought IQ was gonna put out like a Valk cam and be like, "Ha, I got you, I found you," but it was a phone. I was like, "Oh no." All
right, looks like we're almost ready to get into this tactical timeout. Norris has a chance to talk to the FLUXO W7M roster.
He's pretty much like, "Oh guys," he's like having a speech, right?
Yeah.
Gotta get into the right groove.
I feel like if you're a coach, you would have a little notepad, right? Like it would. If I was a coach, I would want a little notepad and just constantly jotting down notes between rounds so that you know what you're going to say in your tactical timeout, so you know what you can say at the end of the map.
Well, very much so.
All right, guys.
There it is.
We're about to get back into the game. The tactical timeout has officially been called. It will start as soon as the game has actually launched. The map's actually begun, which will be in just a moment. Mics are about to be unlocked now. Norris really needs to chime in. And here he goes for W7M.
Sinal default. Única diferença, eu quero trocar o lobo pra Azami, pra você ficar jogando, dando prioridade pra banana. Tá? Bobão, você vai ser Smoke pra fazer na leste. Quando você gastar seus 3 Smoke, pede pro lobo, ou for do TZK, o lobo tampa a janela passarela, você volta, vai jogar do Zig, pune um drone, desce e depois vai pra metal e sobe, tipo, você não quer morrer no Zig, tá? Que a gente não tem reforço lá. Oficina, a gente vai fazer a mesma coisa.
Tá falando Zig ou Matrix? Zig mesmo, Zig é Zig.
Exato, Zig.
Tá bom, beleza.
Mas você começa no Matrix, é isso?
Sim, sim, eu vou começar lá e com a...
Depois, oficina default, a gente vai pegar, só que aí dessa vez o roupão vai de Azami, vai pegar, fazer step lash, e aí
No, of course, we won't know what they said, but we are awaiting Maria's translation for us. Norris is what we call a vibes coach.
Oh, he
and that's
really
not a negative thing at all. He always seems to have the correct words for his boys.
Well, you remember when Igor took his tactical timeout, it was
very strategic.
So strategic.
Yeah.
It was bring the Ella, bring the Thorn, bring the Castle, do this. We're going to kill them here, right? We're going to do this. It's all about the game stuff. Norris, I mean, he has some of the best aura at Reload. When we had a chance to see teams pick their opponents, he had some of the most vicious aura. He was so relaxed.
Yeah, it seems to be more general for him. They can be plays like guys, they're playing this style, play faster, play slower.
That said, this game so far, as you identified, FLUXO have been playing unusually strategic.
They have. So I am curious if this is a sign to go back to basics, because the only problem I have with it is the way they lost that previous round was they went back to the very old aggressive in-your-face style for FLUXO W7M, running out main dot twice, both people dying, and then they lost the bomb site control. I feel like the strategy has been working so well for them. But now we're gonna dig into the layers, okay? They bring the mirror and the heavy strategy the first 3 rounds. They force the mirror back. Now they're gonna play the more, we're gonna hold areas with good guns, traps like they usually do, which is more comfortable for them, and they've cheesed a round or 2. So I could see this being the turning point for FLUXO's playstyle to change.
Of course, if you're not aware, a lot of these teams don't just have a coach, they've got a slew of support staff. FLUXO W7M have Thug, who's been their analyst for quite some time now. Yep.
I like that name.
And Furia have quite a few. They just brought on Lenda and Abradex just recently to support them.
One from NIP, is that correct? Was it NIP? Ooh, I believe from, I think from Twitter, Igor was like, they picked up one of the freelancers from NIP.
Yeah, I think they were formerly of NIP. Both of them, I believe.
Oh, both of them?
I'm not 100% sure on that. But Furia have a whole army of analysts because they've also got Abreu, who's been their assistant coach for quite some time, and Vitz, who I believe is still doing analyst work for them. You can analyze all you like. If Dodes is swinging you, you better be careful. Dodes has been really hot throughout the tournament, but has had a quiet start to today. About to get spotted by the Twitch drone, but Herds doesn't have a lot of ways to try and flush him out, and Nade might do the trick with KZ down below.
Just use a Thorn Trap. If there is one by this when you jump in, you are cooked. So I think the Twitch drone going in first, just looking for it, but it could also be in the shelf, hard to see.
Dodes has the read. He knows that KZ is down below.
And Buck should know exactly where he is. But he's bucking the wrong area, maybe also looking for a trap first to enable the Black to jump in.
Trap is genius, and Philippox downstairs hunts down Volks. Now Dodes on the bird, finally finished off by KZ, and Furia have bitten back with a 2-player advantage now. Loban, though, he's been the deadliest player in the server in this map so far, and he looks for a swing. A lot of damage onto JV, but receives a lot from the window behind him, and on his retreat, KZ from down below. Furia are locking in together to find these kills.
This C4 has to land. You gotta take down the Blackbeard right here, right now. Gets tossed on now, hits the shield, but then the injury follow-up on the guard break animation. Paulo makes this winnable for his team. It's him and Dots playing inside of Fountain, inside of Armory, not playing together, trying to hold map control for a bit more time. 25 seconds, mind you, no Goyo, no smoke. The timer is real. It comes down to the execute in the 3v2.
Beautiful shot from Palu with the slug shotty. As JV falls, KZ and Philippox have to clutch up for Furia. Dots is holding a long angle, and Palu up close with a slug shotgun. Philippox, will he look for a plant?
No.
Amidst the smoke, it's KZ to go deep, but Philippox, he has no choice but to get off the plant. And there's nothing to be done for Furia, because FLUXO W7M continue battling on border.
Beautiful fighting back, recognizing when you have to go on the offense and when you have to play it back and make them make that first move. Aggression in a 2v4 and in a 2v3. The second they tied it up into a 2v2, they say they want to go for a plant. That's how they're gonna win. If we don't give them any kills, they can't go for a plant because they can't cover 2 separate angles with a single gun, and they don't have enough time to problem solve. So FLUXO, W7M off the tag timeout, very much successful. But I gotta praise KC on the buck. Finding 3 kills, vertically both clearing out a CCTV player, cutting off the run back, and 90 shortly after right here. It's beautiful. It is very old school style Siege, customs clear to CCTV. Sadly, it all falls apart. Furia maybe rushing a bit too much with 18 seconds left.
And yet they won the start of that round. It really just came down to the mid-round and their failure to clear out Palu from inside of Armory. Now, we do finally have a translation of the tactical timeout from 2 rounds ago. You want me to rattle off that one for you?
Please do.
All right. So what Norris was saying to the team is prioritize banana. Now, quick question. Do you know what they're talking about when they say banana? Because I don't have a call out for banana on border.
Okay, so logically, I'm thinking it's either 90 or it's going to be the break room catwalk.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Prioritize banana. Folks, you're going to be smoked on east stairs. Once you've burned your 3 smokes, ask Loban to help you get past the window and survive. Just get out of there.
Yeah.
Workshop, let's do the exact same thing. Defaults, Volps is going to play Azami, and they'll do step-by-step on east stairs.
Okay.
So that was the plan. We do have Volps on the Azami. We don't have a smoke pick, though.
Not for this one, no. Of course.
He's going to be playing east again, but Dodez is caught off guard. This is so uncharacteristic of one of the top fraggers of the tournament so far.
But Loban fights back, looking for another one. Bit of an ego challenge, but look at this, the pressure. Blitz coming into action, another swing, another shutdown by Nade.
Nade with the DMR, reaction times of a god today. Loban has been so prolific, but he will not survive and escape back to side. It's Palu in a 1v3, the Nitro Cell
1v2.
gets the injure onto the Blitz, and a 1v2 looks very winnable after Palu played it so well last round. He finds himself in another big clutch position. Can Philippe be picked up by KZ?
He's crawling outside past the wall, should be safe. The issue is this Blitz, 20 health, but so strong in the 1v2.
SMG-12 for the soon-to-be father, who's been at SI's time and time again and never raised the hammer. Palu looks to reposition, keep them guessing. KZ with that DMR, though, continues rattling it out through the wall and puts Palu down.
Did they have information? He was striking him all the way from Beaver door into 90. Big smile from Philippe. I was like, oh, we won the round. Now, mind you, Palu, he had a bit more health on his bar. He can't get blinded, can't get smoked off, had a really good fighting chance. But with 20 health against a DMR Blitz, it's almost impossible. Look at these swings. Ego challenge after ego challenge. Now they're trying to save Volps and say, okay, you're stuck in these stairs, let's fight together, instead of sacrificing him for free. And when we go back and look at how Furia were defending themselves many rounds ago, Yellow Pink, they did have information. They were losing a person east stairs, then they're playing 4v5. Lost a person office, playing 3v5. FLUXO are refusing to sacrifice any players in those exterior positions. So they will send the help into a worse spot, but to increase the gunfire in that spot, where most people will fall back and play together in a stronger position. It's very risky. Can also be very heavy on the reward. But for that one, it's Nate's DMR finding 2 easy kills in the round with that, almost being guaranteed to Furia.
And that leads us to map point. Pangu, FLUXO W7M started 2 rounds up over Furia. Ever since Igor took that tactical timeout at 2-0, Furia have been in control.
We're not seeing that heavy strat setup either. No more Kaid, no more Mirror. Of course, that was spanned away, but there doesn't seem to be like a second set of layers. You still have options like, you know, your pulse playing below vertically, your Valkyrie, your Echo sort of operators. But that's not FLUXO's typical playstyle. And with how aggressive and Hertz and Casey they are getting inside the building for map control, I do think it's smart not to play too isolated. Floor is thrown, 4 Thorn Trap, a Razor Bloom. I'm gonna say worth it, but it does seem funny that we're in an age where flawless droning out Razor Blooms from Thorn is actually a good thing. Of course, with the Thorn rework recently, it's a very strong operator nowadays. Being brought out a ton here at SI. Echo got a 3rd Yoga drone, but is still kind of below Thorn, I would say, right now. Great popularity.
Yeah, I just think Thorn is a little bit more versatile.
For sure.
You can play it whenever. You don't have to escort your traps around the map like you do with a Yokai drone. Especially on a map like Border, where you can't really sit back safely anywhere on site. Furia, if they see you droning, they will pounce. As Hertz, who's had a couple of quiet rounds, on the Nomad now, looks to try and flush out Dodez from inside CCTV, but KZ, Ego challenges it himself with the AK-12. A first kill for Furia, as FLUXO W7M are reeling, looking for some form of a reply.
Nobody even helping Dotus either. No one's playing at 90, stopping the walk-ins. There is a stop. Palu on Archive's door, but he's on one single point of health himself. The danger point here, FLUXO. All the util pieces are up alive of Furia. The fire, the smoke, Capital, the air jabs, ton of flashbang utility. If they get to that bomb site, I think that's heavily Furia favored, and I think FLUXO know that. They need a kill.
They're being forced back. Nobody remains on the top floor for FLUXO W7M, and Furia have 50 seconds to work with.
Almost no vert though, right? Mind you, they all brought flashbangs. No secondary soft breaches, but only one flourish drone. First fire going out. Last flourish drone going out. But Lobin wallbanging the stock wall means that they know he's stocking customs. He has no way back to help his teammates. They can open up the walls in blue and just pressure the bomb site. Volps has to go big, it feels like, for this one.
Palu is in the hot seat on the bomb site, 1 HP. Volps, though, will lash out and finish off the Flores of JV. Numbers advantage for FLUXO W7M, 15 seconds to play. Furia have to go big as Nate drops down. You're right, there are smoke babes for Loban.
Oh no!
But Herds has found his head. And so Furia continue battling, but from up above. Volps has traded
2
back.
seconds.
It needs to be a replan attempt here for Herds. KZ with pistol in hand is met by Palu, who pounces on them both. Overtime as FLUXO W7M rocket this map deep.
The retake top floor. Volps sprinting around the building, retake in blue, retake in bathroom, fighting everywhere on the map. That gave them just that 5 seconds of freedom because Furia were just about to strike. Then, 5 seconds fire, a kill happens from Volps. They gotta recomposure, figure out what angle are we missing, then they gotta go again. But then, they lost the smoke. Lobin died right when the plant started going down. That's where most teams would panic. Not FLUXO. Instead, it's coordinated aggression. Retaking top floor, taking the fight to Furia, and they're stuck in the corner. And Paolo, despite having only 1 point of health in this round, found so much value.
Volps against a lot of his former teammates to have a round-winning play and a map-saving play to go upstairs. Furia know exactly how close they were. There were so many things that went wrong in the mid-round for that. So many ways that could have gone better. You said it, there was no vertical operator brought to the table. You could have used the Flores.
There was a singular Flores on left at that point, so it's technically enough to make the right angle. But I honestly think for Furia, their executes and strategically picking apart a round has been their problem. That's why they banned the mirror. When Mirror and Kai were brought out, Furia forced to frag it out. They couldn't figure out how to breach the walls. Now, in a late round 4v4 plant situation, they also don't get a safe plant figured out either. They knew where 3 of the 4 defenders were. Smokers in stock customs, they had a player Paolo below the hatch, they had Volps running inside of blue, they knew where almost everyone was, yet the plant was a 50-50. So Furia, oh, he got it, okay. Oh, he dies!
But Lobin somehow knows exactly where Philippox is. There's no Solus on the board, and yet he had the read regardless. Philippox might have taken down the bulletproof camera, but it cost him his life.
Not worth it anymore. Trading Twitch drone for BP, that's fine. Dying for the BP, not. But now we're seeing Lobin being overzealous. Why are we swinging this door? This is kind of where the weakness comes into play in my mind. They get early pick again. Asami, the power operator with the keeper barriers to help the teammates fall back towards the bomb site in a 5v4 will swing, and die. Now Paolo looking maybe with Volps to go aggressive again. But guys, you won the early battle.
Oh, the swing could not have been worsely timed. Herds was about to deploy an air jab to prevent that exact swing. And instead, his teammate will fall. JV needs to retake that position, get aggressive, trying to fight the CCTV position from East Stairs, worried about the flank from Office as well. A lot of things to worry about here. The Furia and still those dread mines are a headache.
Yeah, so worried about the swings, despite the air jab actually being pre-placed this time around. And now FLUXO, they're playing what I want them to do. They're playing very passive sheltered roles, crossfire, Volps in the box and CCTV, Dotus 90 right behind him, Paolo, armored door. They have a triple man crossfire with dots covering the flank. Just don't give them individual 1v1s.
It's a good track though, but Herds will fall. KZ has to have a big impact here, but he's caught off guard by Volps. At the drop of a hat into overtime we go, and FLUXO now on map point here on border.
Perhaps this is the point of frustration for Furia, not closing out regulation, having to into OT, having a very weak start. And again, I feel like Furia not really on the same page. I mean, go back to that Eastairs push, right? Nomad has the air jab out in his hands. Capital Nate just walks in, looking the wrong direction. They almost both die immediately. Just take those 2 extra seconds, right? Air jab first. Okay, that's activated. Now we can walk in together. It feels like Fury are just cutting corners, but not really in the usual way where, you know, you're missing something big. They're cutting corners in like the very small details. But it's those small details that are losing them and winning them these very big rounds. Little bit slower, little bit more accurate. Perhaps they can get a different result. We saw a cheeky punch roll down the roll there from Paolo getting a kill. Speaking of OG angles. Now things flip. Furia goes back on defense. It's a long time ago, but they're playing heavy in the trap operators. 1 deployable shield almost every single round. 4 pieces of barbed wire. The big difference is Furia were playing very spread out around the map, fighting for everything. Where FLUXO picked 1 or 2 spots and put a lot of people in those positions. So Furia have to be careful now on those individual players not getting caught off guard.
And that's the thing, FLUXO, they just keep playing aggressive. They know how to play a nice lockdown strategy, but they also just know how to go at a drop of a hat, at a moment's notice. Now the Monty appears, and Furia, well, it's been a long time since we saw them on their defensive side. Are they locked in enough to prevent this gap finding that FLUXO W7M have been so good at?
Do you think Lobin might walk in, main door up, middle steps, or he missed around the corner?
Look, he might be top fragging the game, but he's also died 10 times in this map so far. So he does have to be careful. He is getting caught off guard. He is taking big risks, and it's not always paying off for him.
Of course, the Monty brings sure a ton of stability, but here's where the Nauri becomes very frustrating. Monty can see the laser on the door, but can't risk going for 8 years to clear it.
He has EMPs.
Yeah, that's true. Could toss it on in and walk through, but the issue is, after 12 seconds, it's gonna reactivate behind you, and he cannot EMP again. And his teammate does also have EMPs on the Grim. The question is, do they not want to spend them? Do they want to spend them elsewhere?
I think they're waiting for the lineup here. Palu is on the other side. He also has EMPs, but more importantly, he has the Capital.
Oh.
Felipox has 2 more Denari traps in pocket that he could toss out to potentially stun that Monty. And from down below, Volps is also looking to support. The Thorn Trap, though, just catches Dots and licks him for a bit of damage.
So we gotta get the Monty here.
Come through, and now Felipox is being fully targeted. Where will the fire come through from Palu? He's rotated over, and Volp still has his cutoff from down below.
It's so long, though. They're worried about losing this by Monty dying. Felipox moves away, fire went out. Palu gets a frag, 60 seconds left, though. That's the problem. You got the Ella Mines, the Thorn Trap, speeding up too much. You might just die to a trap operator.
Oh, Herds. Down below, he's being hunted by Lobin.
He's so stuck. No rotate.
The Deimos targets him. Hostile but he's worried about a flank. He knows about it. But now he's caught between 2 players. And Furia continue to harass him until he will fall. A response once again as Volps looks for him. And KZ from up above swoops down for Furia. And he finds all of the kills remaining. A 15th round is required here on the first map, as this Brazilian battle will continue.
Furia, they push that button. Teamwork activated. Push together. It is such a phenomenal play from Lobin to get in the middle of that building and roam clear alone while his 4 teammates, they take Eastairs control. And he goes for a track, and this is where the round can be won or lost. If you track the Thorn and get that free kill as FLUXO, you're playing 5v3, it is so over. However, Furia have 1 correct play to do. That is, you all push for the kill. You 2v1 the Deimos with no fear. Meanwhile that happened, KC is fighting up on East Catwalk, also making a similar play, trying to help the Thorn stuck in bathroom. Everyone worked together. There's so much clear communication. in just 2 or 3 seconds. It has to happen for that play to work.
Ironically, we're talking about two of the most aggressive and loose and fighting teams in Rainbow Six, and yet this game has been so much about the strategy.
It has been.
It's been about all the layers of the Denari and the Ella and being within touching distance of your teammates.
It really has been. And it's funny how we can talk about the minor details, right? What was the biggest issue for the attack there? Probably the fact that it took 2 minutes to Capital fire East stairs and get the kill. Had Capital spawned with the Monty, and you have a guy in passport cut in the rotate, you walk in, open door, Grimby, fire, kill. Takes 30, 40 seconds maybe. It took them 120 seconds. Small things.
One thing that FLUXO W7M has dominated in on borders so far has been the opening engagements. They've won 10 out of 14 of the opening kills on this map. Furia need to be careful because at the start of the round, players like hers are getting caught off guard.
Yeah.
Players like Loban are always going for swings.
Feels like we're watching a bit of a mirror between these two teams. They're mirroring each other so well in so many different ways, individually, stylistically. Let's come back to the same Twitch drone with the same BP camera from 2 rounds ago.
Leapox actually survives this time. He's hiding
behind the barrier.
The next layer of the barrier to make sure he can't get run out on as quickly.
Again, those small things you keep in mind. What happened last time? Okay, I can fix that, optimize it, stand a little bit further back, spend more time droning, play it safer. Waiting to jump out, still thinking that somebody's looking for him, but we know there is not. You have to respect the Solus in case it's brought out. If you haven't seen all 5 defenders, you won't know Solus is looking for you. KC, 17 kills. Playing the same role of Loban on the demos, who's sitting on 15 kills. So again, going 1-to-1 in terms of punching above their weight, or maybe at their weight actually. A wall bang from JD, start things off. The dots goes down early. Those F-That mines from Fenrir cannot be changed around now, meaning FLUXO are much more vulnerable than before.
FLUXO W7M have a choice to make. Do they sit back and wait and bleed time? Or do they lash out like they have for this whole game so far?
7-7, James. Lashing it now is madness, right? It's about risk assessment. How big is the risk? How big is the reward? It's the first map in a long BO3 most likely, but Hurts takes down Dotus. Perhaps it's time to lash out on this map. This round might just be over for FLUXO.
Oh! And for the team that staved off 2 map points so far, it must be a 2v5. And none other than Loban, who gets aggressive.
Oh, no.
He's trying to bait out the swing. Volps is being targeted by the Deimos and he will fall. Furia will push to their limits. But the Panthers remain as furious as ever. 15 rounds it takes, but they get the job done. 1 map in the bag for Furia.
Now that is gonna feel good, because with the slow start, with FLUXO having their number, strategically, operator bandwise, pacing, controlling so many things in the server, I mean, see the hugs there from the side of Furia. So much relief, oh my god, we actually got the map victory. So hard fought, and if anything, this goes to show just how evenly matched they are at the end of the day. That's just the first map.
Furia might have won the last 10 times in a row that these teams have met, but FLUXO W7M have shown that they are here to play. Next map coming up after this.
Welcome back, everybody. I wanted to give you guys a peek into FLUXO's strategy on why the game was so close. Now, they're the most aggressive team in the tournament. They're playing Border, the most aggressive map in the pool, against an equally opponent that is just as aggressive that they've seen before. But what do they do different? They play slow, they play methodical, they force Furia to make over-aggressive mistakes to lose themselves around. And we see it in their preparation on the way they approach the site. They take their time to be able to approach, in case Furia has a little bit of an over-aggressive push. Volps is able to notice that Herds has the window prepped for a jump out. And off of the sound cue, he's going to know that a free kill is coming out. Herds jumps out, sound cue is given, Volps gets the kill, and it works flawlessly. Now this stuns Furia. It gives them a moment of calmness for FLUXO to be able to move into the map. But as you can see, everybody's spread out around the map. Now why is that? Because they're playing containment. They're waiting for Furia to make the over-aggressive mistakes. And as you can see, it works perfectly. Loben is holding CC control for over-aggression. Dots is putting pressure onto Armory Balk. Dotas is holding break control. Volps is going to put pressure inside of Dome. And Paula, the most important player to watch, has East control. He can either watch 90 or watch the balcony. Now what does Furia do? Felipox is going to go for an aggressive 1v1 on Dotas. He gets the pick. But here's the mistake, the over-aggression. He pushes onto the balcony, and I really want you to pay attention to what Paula does. He understands that off of this pick, now they lost break control. Some flank could happen. So instead of pushing down 90, he rotates to deal with the pick. Boom. Essentially, Furia is bleeding positioning, and they have nowhere else to go. What does FLUXO do? They put the pressure in now. That's where we see Dots push up. He holds CC control. He's able to lock down KZ, so he can't help Nade. Volps is able to put pressure onto Nade, taking his attention, and now the push from Paula. Because it is completely covered and unsuspecting, he's able to push in and get the pick onto Nade. They're able to push in a nice little 2-on-1. Paula gets the kill, Volps pushes in and is able to then take Fountain control, but I really want you to pay attention to Paulu. Where is he going? He's going to East Balcony, because if we understand where Furia is positioned, one's locked inside Armory, one is inside CC. Loben has a beautiful angle to be able to watch anybody coming in from top metal. Dots is going to rotate all the way to Paula, and Paula is watching the remaining member so that once everyone's together, they can push into the site, take it, execute, and use that man advantage. Now, the reason why it's so impressive is because we already know FLUXO is the most aggressive team in the tournament, but something that is very dangerous is when a team that is aggressive can switch the tempo and play very slowly. Now, despite them losing Border in a close matchup, it makes me confident to say that going onto a map like Chalet that better suits FLUXO's diversity in play means that it won't be a 2-0. But first, we have to go back to the studio to break it down a little more.
That sounds very promising.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful, and it sounded very promising as well for FLUXO W7M. I do feel like it was nice to have a bit of a breather after this first map, because with how close it was, it genuinely felt like we were already watching the SI Grand Final.
I was just about to say, it definitely felt like a grand final matchup. I mean, I was holding my breath through every single round, and I think Fox really depicted it, how this map really played out. It was a transition of who was going to control that tempo, who was going to get aggressive, who was going to play slow, who was going to play back on those layers, who was going to get that entry pick then to fall back onto those layers. And unfortunately, for the side of FLUXO, they do lose it out in the end, but not for a huge fight. Fighting tooth and nail for each piece of control of the map. I mean, this really was a great display for both of these teams, showcasing how much they want to win and push themselves one step closer to getting to a grand final.
That was really believing at the beginning.
Absolutely.
With this lead for FLUXO W7M, that maybe this was the map that they were going to take them down. It was Furia's map pick, and we're seeing that here again as well. With the highlights of the last map, it seems like once again, they turn out to be the big brother of FLUXO.
Yeah, and you know, you just gotta accept it for what it is, but that's the beauty of a best of three, is you can shake it off. You can learn from everything and all the mistakes that happened from the previous map and then transition into the next. But we have to highlight Loben, we have to highlight KZ. I mean, KZ, 19-8. I mean, what a phenomenal performance from him. But the Loben that we're seeing now is the exact one we saw back in Montreal when they won that event, where he's able to pick and prod around the site, being able to find those entries, find those gaps. That's the exact Loben that we need. And on the side of Dotas, we just need to see him start to perform, because the rest of the team was performing. Now we get into map 2, and then that's where everyone can come into fruition.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. We do also have the Xbox fan cam as well, showcasing some of our fans in the audience. It genuinely felt like Furia had the upper hand in the matchup, but also with the audience.
I mean, Furia are fan favorites. They've been here before. They've been able to lift trophies, so everybody is going to believe in the team that has succeeded before. But that being said, I'm a big believer in the underdog story. The way FLUXO W7M was playing so slow, adapting to the meta, it is very impressive that of all the teams they've gone through, they've kept it so close on map 1, which is an aggressive map, against Furia that arguably should be winning their map pick.
And I think that's an important thing to note, is obviously losing the series 8-7, there's a lot you can take from that just in your own mental, of knowing we did fight tooth and nail for everything, we did lose to ourselves. So going into that second map, you don't have that mental block of saying they just outmatched us, they were better than us, they are clearly the deciding winner of this match. They have everything and all the tools to push it to a map 3, to get this second map underneath their belt, as long as we keep that same diversity in their style and play and that tempo.
You know, I was walking, I actually saw the W7M FLUXO players come our way as I was walking back here to the studio, and they didn't look defeated either. I think we're seeing that on the videos here as well. It was definitely different, for example, in Munich, when they were almost getting upset with each other, getting frustrated in between these two maps. That definitely doesn't seem to be the case here. Now, you said it during your telestrator, Fox. This might be a map that suits FLUXO W7M better going on to Chalet.
I'd also like to add that FLUXO W7M usually loses their first map against OXG, against SSG, and then they come back to win it. Now, a map like Chalet, it's not just very one-sided aggression. There, you have to be able to play slow. You have to be able to have that adaptation. Right. Furia has it, we know that. They've lifted hammers before. But that being said, FLUXO really has a good game plan. I hope this loss doesn't affect their mentality and be able to change the way that they play, because they had a great understanding, a great read of what they needed to do. A couple rounds just didn't go in their favor because of the nature of border. Chalet's a lot more consistent. That's where I'd expect FLUXO will be able to get the edge on that.
All right, well, Maria had a quick chat with some of the coaches before map 1. Let's hear what she has to say.
FLUXO led border open against Furia, and they went to an overtime. They might know something about that we don't know about Furia. How aware of Furia gameplay and especially weakness they seem to be right now?
So basically, we practice a lot each other, so they know the things we do. But we played against them, I don't know, 5-6 times, and we won all the time. If we played against them 100 times, we will won 100 times, because it's border, you know. The guy who picked this map side from FLUXO need to be in jail.
FLUXO was so close to finally beat Furia, but we could see that your faces were kind of upset when you left the stage. What was the conversation in the backstage to change that mood and come back stronger for this next map?
I think we are not upset. We are just calm. I think we are just calm and talk about the errors in the map, and have 2 maps are very comfortable for us. It's no problem, but it's not upset. It's just relax.
No problem, it seems. That sounded pretty convincing, and on the other side, we heard that they need to go back to jail.
I mean, to what Igor said, I mean, it's those idiosyncrasies. You know what each individual does, and the fact that Lobo was even able to move around the map the way that he was and be so fluid was instrumental to be able to keep them so close. But it is going to be a little harder on the side going into Chalet. But it's not to say, for Furia, they got to keep the pressure. They got to control the narrative, especially getting that win to get that momentum going into this map. They can't allow FLUXO any breathing room, because they need to constrict all of their movement, stop Low from being able to find those gaps, and that will be the winning success rate for the side for Furia of getting into this Chalet.
I mean, it sure will. The Roam will be FLUXO's successor, but we have to take into consideration the stakes. FLUXO usually loses the first map. They've lost the last 10 times that they played against Furia. It's a situation where the fact that they even got that close on border means that something is working, especially with the shots that Palu and Lobin were hitting, with how Lobin was playing and him being the successor going into Chalet, with the way the stylistic matchups were working out for them on border. If they play the exact same, I'd imagine we're going to go to a map 3.
Now, one more thing before we do go into the second map. I feel like we're playing according to the script, right? We talked about it, you mentioned already, the 10-win game streak that Furia have. The maps and the rounds, or sorry, the rounds instead, were quite close, and they are again here.
Yeah, it was the only statistic that was close for FLUXO W7M. Everything else was 0. That being said, they put up a fight every single time, but the closer they get, the better. And the map like Border is only going to feed into players like KZ, JV92. When you go on a map like Chalet, yes, there are positions like that, but again, I really do believe that FLUXO has a good read on how Furia is playing.
Sounds very promising. Well, the only thing that we have to do now is we're putting in a lot of faith on the shoulders of the FLUXO W7M players. The question is, can they live up to that? Map 2 is about to start.
Yes, it is, and it's about to begin, and Furia, after a troublesome first map, they finally got it across the line, but it took 15 rounds.
And that's maybe the slight concern if you're a fan of Furia, but it sets the story up beautifully for FLUXO W7M to show what they're made of and show how far they can take this stardom roster of Furia.
You saw confidence exuded by Igor in that interview. The coach of Furia, he said, we know Border. We win that 100 times out of 100 times. But on the flip side, Norris, in his interview, he said, look, we're not stressed. No, we're not worried at all. We are completely relaxed. And as they said on the analyst segment, we have seen time and time again, FLUXO W7M bounce back after losing the first map.
Yeah, they have 42% to 58%, so the fan vote as well, believing more in FLUXO. There's Igor saying, whoever picked Border should go to jail. That's how criminal he thought that pick was, but they showed that they can take them the distance.
Oh, we're finished with Border now. We're on to Chalet. It's a bit of a different map, and it's time to see who takes it. FLUXO W7M have a chance to bite back against the once world champions of Furia, who are a shadow of their former selves.
All right. So the scene has been set. Expectations, of course, very high. Chalet, I think the devs did a great job at breaking things down. How, yes, aggression, much like on Border, will still matter, but it plays in more, you can argue, in FLUXO W7M's playstyle of adapting, changing tempo, the fast and the slow. But cast your mind back to Border. What happened after Mirror was banned away? FLUXO kept the same tempo, I would argue, every single round after. So I want to see them now have more depth than just one operator to build around, that being the Mirror on Border, have 2, 3 different operators that in case that one gets banned away, you have something else in the reserve.
And for FLUXO W7M, everyone's looking at them. All eyes are on Palu. All eyes are on Loban. Can he tame his aggression to a way where it keeps Furia running, but it doesn't give them free kills? For Palu, he's played at 8 Six Invitationals. He's played here in Paris before in the grand final and lost it to NIP. He has seen championships slip through his fingers time and time again, and we're a long way from that grand final. Both of these teams will have to run this gauntlet in the lower bracket for a chance to vie for the hammer.
Albert bans, might have seen it just there for a second. It's funny because I can't see them anymore. There we go.
We'll see them in a brief moment.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'm getting a little bit jumping the gun here.
Yeah, you are. You excited about these?
I'm excited because a little bit more than usual.
Is there something a bit saucy?
It's just that I feel like it shows us how Border played out and how the teams are adapting into Chalet. And we're just getting a little bit teased here. Okay, the players, they're looking nice here from Volps. He's locked in.
Volps, he's talked a lot of smack in the group stage and in the early parts of the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's been very lippy in the all chat. A few players throughout the tournament have been getting in the ears of their opponent in the all chat. Volps has been the king of it. But finally, we see the operator bans, and I'm seeing something pretty saucy from Furia.
The Thorn and Ella ban on Chalet? I mean, Furia are not known to be a shield team. I want to see at least 2 or 3 rounds of either Blitz or Black Pit right now because you are setting up yourself for prime real estate with playing those fast entry-style operators.
And it's the exact 2 operators that Igor called Furia to be leaning into when they were 2-0 down on Border in that tactical timeout.
For FLUXO's side, of course, being on defense, depending on the Grim and the Glass, again, that power-up kind of meta. Removing 2 from action, allowing the other ones to go through. So no surprise to us that Casey will play the demos here to start things off. He's doing so well earlier. Open window for your teammate. Teammate holds the cutoff, maybe get a freebie. This is trying to cut off the map earlier than usual and catch somebody by surprise. But Dots, is he gonna risk it? Does he even know the window's opened up? That's the question.
Oh, Furia,
Palu,
beautiful patience there. Palu baited into a little bit too much movement, and Herds just holding his angle from the piano window, finds a free kill. And then immediately after that, Hard Breeze starts to be enabled on the office wall. Here's a bit of aggression from Dots. He doesn't find what he's looking for. And FLUXO W7M are starting to struggle. The impacts continue to roll on through to destroy these ace Selmas that are looking to breach the main wall onto site.
They have gone through now. So they're pressuring the bomb site before messing. I mean, that pressure on Dotis, that might be a problem. Falling back, also a problem. Volps, again, feels like the hero. So many rounds on Border, has to be that middle link. either helping his teammate or finding a pick for himself. This is where Furia keep applying pressure everywhere across the map, right? They're outside piano window, they breach the bomb site wall, they're waiting for something, but Dots with a great lash out, stuck by the bomb site. He wasn't.
Dots is looking to lash out again onto the balcony. Everyone seemingly harassing JV outside on that balcony, but Dodez and Dots have both lose health for it, and Nade has snuck up from the main stairs. What are FLUXO going to do about that? They've lost their anchor of a player at the top of mezzanine, and now Volps is feeling a hell of a lot of pressure. Takes off KZ's head, finds a second as well. Where is the response from Furia into the 2v3? They have not achieved nearly enough in this round, and Loben lashes back for FLUXO. JV being hunted down, they know exactly where he is, as he has 1 HP and a DMR to hold on to. Sees Loben for a brief moment. He's got some info as well, but he doesn't have the diffuser. In the close angle, there's no way the DMR wins that fight. Loben should have him dead to rights with the SMG-12. If not, Volps surely should with the Scorpion. So out comes a shotgun, out comes a C4. Shot out of mid-air, but Volps a swing. And Norris is firing up his boys for the first round of Chalet.
Beautiful. You say it, and it happens. Who had to be the hero, James? Who was it that was in that middling position?
Had to be Volps.
It was your boy Volps. Just like on Border so many times before. But a big praise to Loben because he enabled the play. You might see it in the replays here in a moment. Loben walked up into the piano hallway behind Volps. So Volps looking down the blue stairs. He was not worried about his left here on piano because Loben was right behind him holding the crossfire. So if Nate pushed up that main stair, you see it right here. He's holding the soft wall into piano deeply. So absolute worst case, you know, you get a 1-for-1 trade. This small thing, Loben giving space to Volps, means Volps can fully focus on his gunfight and not worry about flicking around looking for multiple angles.
And for Furia, they needed some kind of utility to clear out that Denari player at the top of the stairs. A flashbang, a grenade, a Capitao, somebody on the window of display to try and have some kind of crossfire or even threaten a jump in at the same time.
But you know, display window got shut down by Dots like 10 seconds prior, right?
He was the player that needed to be alive earlier in the round. FLUXO actually, while that did look like a chaotic aggressive round, it was actually very structured and tactical aggression that got them those situations.
And again, taking the fights in the right areas, that is going to be how you win Chalet very often. You play around, you know, either inside library in the corner, on the mezzanine that we saw last round, or on top of blue stairs. You only have very few angles on this map where you're not exposed from an exterior position, from a window rappel or a far line of sight. And you got to make use of those angles.
But if you want to talk about clearing positions with Util, how about this? We've got Ying, we've got Monty, we've got Sense, we've got IQ to spot out any catch or any gadgetry, which can then be hunted down by the Brava.
So operator-wise, I think Furia have a slight advantage, but it comes down to execution at the end of the day.
That's going to be hard for Hertz. He's not going to be able to take down that dread line, I don't think.
No. I mean, maybe with a ridiculously well-positioned nade.
There's no way. I mean, without cooking, you're going to have to land it in the rafter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Very well-positioned.
Not happening. There's absolutely no way.
But you have no faith in my boy Hertz. Okay.
I mean, I feel like he might be able to prone and get an angle. I know he tried for a second there.
Yeah. The issue is, without jumping in that window, this might be tricky for Felipox, right? He has very limited supportive angles to work with.
Felipox almost fell down. Oh, big Nitro. That's going to knock his shield back for a brief moment. Hertz actually jumps straight into the dread mine. He looks to take it desperately. But KZ from behind with the Ying shotgun has had a big impact. Volps, though, he makes the top of library stairs his own. 2 big kills. And he's hunting for more. Bit of damage onto the feet of Felipox. And the Monty is about to fall. Nade finally shuts down Volps. And Furia have the advantage again. A minute to play. Dots and Palu forced back.
Felipox 1 point of health on the Monty. Nade about half HP. Super winnable for FLUXO. Sadly for them, there is no C4s left, no impact grenades either. They need that one more kill. Look at this. He's right around the corner. But the flank is open. He's not watching it. The drone will see him. Do you fight or do you fall back? He's going to push up the staircase.
Monty's going to see him. Oh, the timing! Onto Nade! A beautiful shot for Dots, and that brings us back into the realm of possibility for FLUXO W7M. JV in a 1 versus 2, and they know exactly where he is. 2 smoke grenades in pocket as he clears out the Banshee and makes his way towards the side. There's info on his position, and a fire up above, but JV threads the needle. A 1v1. against Palu. Palu holds his ground on the stairs. He knows he has the diffuser upstairs, but JV has to close the gap, has to close the distance. But Palu weathers the storm for FLUXO W7M, wins it in the 1v1, and finds a second round for his team.
The shots that were hitting that round from both sides. The fadeaway jump over Machine Flick on the pixel on the keeper to get into that 2v2 that they desperately needed. JV Flick, wallbang, one tap. Just reacting off getting shot, essentially. And Palu in another very important position, this time finds the clutch.
I want to translate what I just saw in the
KC just asked Volp something.
Yeah, I think talking about the Kiba barriers from the Azami. I don't know if the teams, obviously KZ and Volp's former players together on the old W7M roster back in Montreal SI 2023. W7M made the grand final only to fall to G2. And that roster, of course, was KZ, JV, Herds, Volps, and Julio, who now coaches for Falcons in that upper bracket final later today. FLUXO W7M, though, I mean, they're hitting some gnarly shots of their own. You talked about what JV managed to land. How about the shot from Dots with the TCSG?
Absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, Volps on top blue stairs in 2 rounds, gotten 5 kills. It's him both rounds, putting his team in his back saying, I will give you a way back into this one, trust me. And he played off that keeper barrier and, again, isolated positions. Used the keeper to block off the office jump in, fight blue stairs, then flick around, fight the guy who jumped in office window. It's beautiful. Using a bit of map design, blocking off the angles, being very present about what's happening around you. First with a quick entry library, though. Can't go too fast because a red ping came out. Enemies in piano hallway. Peeling back the layers, but look at FLUXO's setup. We spoke about the playing strategy. They got the Mira, the Kaid, the Tugrao. They want to lock down the office walls upstairs. And the bomb site is in kitchen and dining. But as long as they have upstairs control, they can see the entirety of the bomb site. But now we're going to talk about Furia, right? They banned 2 traps and Lathorn. Now they're playing the Blitz. Phillypox combined with the Lion Scan, they gotta find an entry somewhere in this map. It's either clearing top floor and going for kills, or finding a gap bottom floor and getting site control.
And flag is going to be really challenging here for FLUXO W7M. Herds has expended 2 sets of track stingers on both the lobby stairs and the blue stairs, locking up any flank potential. Now KZ making absolute Swiss cheese out of the site. But Philippox elsewhere is actually going to be taken down. I didn't see where that angle from Dots came from down below somehow. And somehow Palu is allowed to survive as he tried to retreat near the main master window. FLUXO W7M are finding a few too many kills here. Furia, what's going wrong? And Herds isn't even given his chance as Loban looks to retreat back further. Dodaz is still alive as I say that. He falls. KZ finally finds a kill through the Swiss cheese on the main wall. If Herds isn't careful, he's not going to see that Loban is actually prone down next to him.
Keep in the fall off, playing the numbers game.
Oh, the drone will see him for sure.
They try to set it really well. He can still fall back, to be fair. The keep on is a very small gap, or he can advance forward. Look for that kill. There it goes. The wallbang comes through.
KZ does a lot of damage to him, but KZ's low HP himself. Loban needs to take the fight, and he takes Herds with him before he goes down. Big Nitro Cell, and then will fall. KZ, the 1v3.
He's hiding. He's in Solarium.
I think Volps is going to win this.
They have no idea.
He's just prone there.
What?
Dashing up at the last moment. And KZ says, yeah, try and get that one over me, I dare you. 1v2 now for the Lion of Furia. And he finds a second kill.
Palu's 1 HP. They're both 1 HP.
Palu was on the verge of death. And KZ,
he's gonna floor bang him?
The player who's done what Palu could not and raised the hammer, must now win in the 1v1. Palu looks to retreat back. KZ has a diffuser, and he drops down. Master Sounds. The player is actually outside. He might be able to look for the plant here, but he's going to have to stick it for 6 seconds. Palu should surely win this. He's got the red ping, and KZ cannot stick the plants. Palu makes it 3 rounds straight for FLUXO W7M.
And 2 rounds in a row where he gets into the 1v1 battle. I mean, again, such a good effort bringing it back. Furia always have some fight left in them, but think about how that round started. It was a 3v5. The Blitz died. Someone else somewhere else died. It's been a struggle in the early game for Furia for half of these rounds on Border and on Chalet, and in the other half they get a good early start, but a struggle of a late round. Furia missing some serious consistency across the board, and Igor is gonna call it tag time and talk to his boys.
Coisas, vocês já estão falando, vamos plantar aqui, vamos fazer isso, vamos fazer aquilo. A gente domina uma área, a gente agora trava e fala, tá, qual que é a rotate pra botar os caras mortos jogando. Esse round aqui, se a gente tá mais atento no drone do Sagon, a gente tinha visto antes, o Casey tinha feito o clutch pra gente. Então continue jogando o jogo, morto ou vivo, e vamos fazer as coisas ao mesmo tempo. A gente não pode demorar tanto tempo pra fazer um 3-2, tá ligado? Fox, quando a gente puxar o semi-biblioteca, vamos botar o cara embaixo, pra gente começar a pegar kill nesses caras ali, que eu acho que vai funcionar. A gente pode continuar fazendo a Lobo, talvez com o Erdina entrando embaixo, só que se eles estão batendo, eles estão lá, guys, travaram no animal, no coisa, a gente pega a brecha banheira, a gente pega as brechas do que a gente ganhou.
Eu quero puxar o Ezek lá, Igor. O Ezek aqui.
Tá, então bora, na tua confiança.
Bora, fechou.
Bora, diminui, bora, porra.
Bora que tá de boa.
Back-to-back 1v1s for Palu. FLUXO W7M are laughing. These rounds have been close, but they've been getting across the line.
Oh, yeah.
Does Igor say to the boys in a moment like that?
This one's hard because, to me, in my very limited understanding of Portuguese, it sounded still strat heavy. But at the very end, that was the energy, like, bora, you know, come on, let's go. Bringing up the hype again. Because I do think that this will come down to a mental game. You know, Furia, back when they were the team to watch out for, going to every grand final and winning every single grand final, they were mentally still a little bit weak at moments. But they were so dominant that they were rarely tested on the mental, because they would just keep winning. The biggest challenge for teams that find a lot of success, in my mind, is what happens when they start to lose. Well, that's been the last calendar year for Furia. Sure, they won Reload, but most people were like, well, quote-unquote, Mickey Mouse event. It doesn't count as a full event, right? And I think Furia themselves, they take that trophy, they felt good about it, of course, as you should, but they want more.
Reload was just the proof that this team that almost disbanded after failing to qualify for Montreal
still had it.
Could actually still vie for another trophy.
That's it.
And with all the rumors about this maybe being the last dance for Furia, there's no better time than the present, but it won't be this round for Nate, at least. Loban to continue lashing out. He's playing this smoke, for goodness sake.
Yeah, the allegations of Furia not really hanging with the shield meta, you'll never beat those allegations. But Hurts, thankfully, quick into Trench Door, finds Volps and Solids, an equally very important operator on both sides of movement action.
Good player to take down on Volps as well. 6 kills in just 3 rounds.
5 of those in the first 2.
Yeah.
But the clash. This is FLUXO changing tempo, saying, you want to play a bit slow on the attack inside? Well, we got the deployable shield, we got a clash, we got a smoke from Loban. And while they're playing very aggressive roaming early on, they can fall back and play the late round. My worry now is Loban stuck on blue stairs, kind of, because the enemies are in library. Hurts is waiting for him. He was thrown downstairs as well.
You think he's stuck on blue stairs with Furia? No. Furia is stuck on blue stairs with him.
We'll see about that.
If he can perform half as well as Volps did, then I think Furia will have a real hard time of clearing out this smoke player, especially with the clash of support.
Mind you, Furia actually not really happy to take these gunfights. They're double-triple joining blue stairs, avoiding Loban at all costs, taking it very slowly here because their mid-round has been very lackluster. Loban is now going to maybe go for a re-attempt flank as smoke in the late round. If he dies, they lose 30 seconds of plant denial and they go down a player because right now it's 4-4.
Oh, great. From KZ, he sneaks in from behind and the striker strikes first for Furia. 2 players on the ground now from FLUXO.
I don't like this. The last call went out though, but JB looking for a flank. Solarian Cam is still up, so the flank should be seen by the defenders, but the clash...
Dangerous, very dangerous game, but KZ wins the fight and doubles down. 3 kills for the Lion as Palu. He's won back-to-back 1v1s, must now make it a 1v4. KZ's fired up, Philippe finds the final kill, and Furia are finally here on Chalet.
And perhaps slow and steady is how it's gonna be. They lock down library without losing a body, despite Nate dying to Loban downstairs inside a bar. And then they find the flanker, they find the clash, they literally find every single player in front of them. But FLUXO, if they choose to go back to a different pace, that can affect how Furia's going to attack. This Volps actually swing and hurts on Trench Door, okay. I thought he ran in.
That pre-fire from KZ was so good. And the second as well, the wherewithal to go for the pre-fire, knowing that the aggression's about to come out from FLUXO.
That's a good read.
Finally, a first round on the board here on Chalet for Furia. Something that we talked about briefly off camera between maps was, look, Heat 7 on border.
Yeah.
Staving off 2 match points.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty damn good from FLUXO.
Very much so.
Furia's map pick after all. There's a very good chance that FLUXO could take Chalet in a much more convincing fashion than what we saw from Furia on border.
5 seconds to go.
Norris said himself, we're not upset, we're calm, just relaxing, just relaxed. And it has been like, when I saw them arrive this morning in the arena, right before the game started, Carlo was smiling and they're laughing, and I think there is something about the mental game obviously there about how you're feeling going into a game. Are you tense? Are you nervous? Are you excited to play here? And I think when you're excited and you're being able to be creative and play your game, take your risks, that's peak Siege. If you're worried about the outcome and worried about the expectations, you're going to be limiting yourself a bit more in the server. And I think FLUXO so far, they have very much been a team showing us that they are here to play their style and believe that what they're doing is good enough.
And as the analysts have said time and time again, FLUXO W7M don't just have one style anymore. They can pivot, they can play really aggressive, and then they can bunker up. They've got the mirror this round, they've got a shield from Volps as well. So they've got a lot of power positions they can utilize, and that calls upon Furia's problem solving to deal with.
Amaro is always a scary thing. Either you play 5v4 or 4v5 very quickly. The issue right now with Furia is this is very telegraphed. There's very little pressure on the building, but the good news of Furia, there are 3 people roaming towards libraries. This ammo should have a clear way in. Deadass smokes us in, plant by the window, play close plant outside the building.
It's going to have to be a plant directly
under the
go
window.
for it. There's a nitro cell on Loban. He can also see through the smoke and the flashes because he is the warden. What do they do about it?
Now they're all
falling
falling back.
out, take down KZ.
Too late now.
And you're right, it is far too late. Nate has missed his opportunity to go in. If he had, he likely would have died to Loban on the warden.
Yeah, very important. though. Dodis actually did not over-rotate. So right there, either you see the C4, you go in and try and go for a plant, or you see all the almost fall back towards the bomb side. Now library is free. Dodis never fell back. He's playing the mirror window, which means map control isn't free. Defender's got a 5v4, and the main ammo strat is completely dead. So now Fury gotta go for broke.
Oh, Nate has fallen as well, trying to make his way up the stairs. Philippox will trade with the Reaper, no less. But it's not enough for Furia to get their boots in the building, to sink their claws into this map. Philippox is low HP, desperately tosses out his second last Candela. VP take down that bulletproof... Oh, hello. Finally take down that bulletproof camera, recollecting the diffuser, but it is too late. Furia do not have many options here.
Gotta bolt through a softball. They gotta use that last Candela, and it gotta make a miracle happen in the server.
Good angle, though, from Herds. And now Dots is under a lot of pressure. Loban has to come in to support. He's the one with the Nitro cell available, and he's found a kill with the SMG at 12. You're right, Volps is on for a big flank here, but they won't do anything. Amongst the fire and the smoke and the flashes, Loban finds them all. The Warden is not to be deceived. And FLUXO W7M make it a 4-1 scoreline.
No, I want to praise Furia for having the balls to go for that attack, but it is very much we win or lose in 20 seconds kind of meta. Because you go in, you plant, you win the post plant every single time.
Look,
genuinely.
You win or lose based on whether they pick the Warden, to be honest.
Also that.
The Azami ban came out, right?
Yeah.
It didn't get rid of the Warden. And then they're relying on smokes and flashes.
Well, I'm pretty sure what happened here is that they didn't start with this strat in mind when the round, drone phase started. They saw the heavy library setup, the mirror window in office, mirror window in library, 3 people, 1 bar, 2 library. They thought the bombs is gonna be weak. But the one guy by the goddamn bomb site, James, was a Warden with a C4.
Yeah.
And that counters everything. Like you said, they needed the Warden to throw a C4 out, then maybe they can make a play. But then they were like, no, we lost a player, it's a Warden, now we know that, it's not gonna work.
It makes me wonder if we need a little bit more drone work from Furia in the prep phase
early on.
to figure out what operators are being brought to the table. Because if you know there's a heavy mirror setup, you can go for an Ash pick, right? If you know there's no Kaid or Bandit, or catch. I mean, there was no catch last round either. There's actually nothing to stop the Ash. Or the reloading.
Same issue on border. We saw FLUXO W7M pick up the mirror, and then there was no real counterplay.
And you can't go for a Ying heavy execute if they just have a Warden on site where you want a Ying.
So, small cause of concern.
What is this? It's a rat in Gang's room.
He's cloning.
Oh, hello, surprise, says Dots. He'll get a lick of damage onto Herds, but then fall back.
Mind you, FLUXO did ban the Ace. Of course, that enables the mirror. It takes away a great gun. And a lot of people don't tend to play the Hibana when you ban the Ace either, so you just change the attacker's playstyle. Casey's in the building and dining. Wow. It's one big kill.
Very deep lurk. He's now being flanked by 2 players. He gets a lot of damage onto Palu somehow. He's about to be flanked, though. I don't think he knows that Volps is here as well. Might have heard him, gets a bit of damage onto him. That's how sharp KZ is. Volps will win the fight regardless.
That's
one of the Barber drones is down, and Nade is looking to go deep with the blitz side. Can he take the 1v1? He's not close enough to get the blind effect. He gets the knockback. Volps is there to save the day. A second kill for Volps. As Herds is left with nothing. 3 players to find. Herds has a tumultuous task ahead of him, a mountain to climb, and FLUXO W7M will not give him anything. He might have put down Volps after that miraculous 2K, but I don't think there's any way he wins. He's got to walk into a dead crossfire. FLUXO W7M have looked so solid on Chalet.
Beautiful.
And they cap off the half nicely, 5 rounds to 1.
I count 5 shield rounds across Border and Chalet. I count a singular round victory where the shield was alive and somewhat impactful. That was on Border, not on this map. We're seeing Nade play the Blackbeard and get spawn peek practically by the smoke of Lopin and bar window. Now we're seeing the Blitz, again, having no impact in the server whatsoever. The blind came out at way too far of a distance. The blind doesn't even work that far away. And again, when you have a shield player, you can play the shields to a very high level. Not having a shield player, you get rounds like that where things are left to be desired, you know?
If I'm Furia's coaching staff, I'm saying, all right, guys, we're going to go, and instead of scrimming, we're just going to play shield 1v1s over and over and over again.
Might be valuable
until
here.
you guys get good at playing these shields. I want all 5 players capable of working these shields, working the blitz, working the tech, the ADS tech with the Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Knowing how to use a Monty and not die, the flicking the roof, knowing when you can correctly blind someone with the blitz, because you're right, it's not their strong suit.
I mean, Volps has been such a pillar in so many rounds. Whether it's him starting off the round at 2K or 3K, or just saving them by getting a 3K in the middle of it, he finds himself in the battle every single round. The most important spot at the perfect moment. 5-1 up. The desk was like, oh, this map will play a bit better into FLUXO's style because they got depth and whatnot. Guys, they're 5-1 up. It's not a little bit better.
Once upon a time, Chalet was regarded as a very attacker-sided map. Yeah. At SI, it's been 52% for the defense. So 4% differential between the 2 sides. So yes, FLUXO W7M would probably expect to have a little bit more luck in that first half. However, I mean, Furia decided to start on the attacking side. And a 5-1, I mean, that's almost inexcusable.
I know Cafe is very different, but when we're looking at the strategical levels to FLUXO W7M, the further we get into this game, the more I tend to favor them in the entire series. But that tells a very dangerous start of Fury in their future.
Scary prospects. Is it the last dance? Well, certainly think it could be if Furia are to go out in the top 6 without making it to the top 3 like they did in Boston last year. But there's no question what the priority is, what the target is for Furia. It's championship. Dots has made his way forward. He's about to get shot in the side. The Leapox knows exactly where he is. The nade comes out. And he 1v1 the Blackbeard. Dots gets a little bit too aggressive and loses his head. But meanwhile, KZ has fallen.
Smart play.
Furia are left pretty lonely, and Leapox is traded back by Dodes.
It's an important kill. FLUXO keeping that pressure, but this gunfight right here between Nade and Paolo could change everything.
Shotgun in hand. Great work with the UMP from Nade. It packs a punch. Dodes will fall. And Herds has taken down the Shoddy Loban. Shoddy v Shoddy, and Palu looks the wrong direction. Volps, who has been the savior for FLUXO W7M, 10 kills to his name, marches into the bomb site alone. 1 versus 3. As Furia hold on to that diffuser. Lit it on the other side of the bomb. Lit it on the other side of the map. Volps can't go for a plant. He needs to go and collect it back from Games Room.
Needs to go for kills. I mean, this round is completely over. Furia, they have ego. If they overswing these teams and give them just 1v1s, just once or twice, that will be enough.
It's time to hold crossfires. Hold up. Herds, it's not time to be swinging like that. 1 player in library box and 1 on the library stairs. Volps needs to thread the needle. He needs to make this count. He has a chance here to find map points and embarrass Furia.
He has time, work the flourish throw and get the intel.
JV has an escape route.
Get that adrenaline out of your body. Don't overthink it. Play off your instincts. Believe in the plan.
AR-33 in hand, and Volps makes his way forward. Nade is right on top of the diffuser, but JV steals the kill from him. And it's not to be for Volps today. Furia have found a second round on the board, but they are still trailing behind by a mile.
And it comes down to a few gunfights once more. I mean, if Palu gets the shotgun kill onto Nade on blue stairs, again, the numbers shift back and forth. If Nade doesn't find the kill in the fallback, same story once again. So, I do think the entries in general is so important, right? We've seen the Blackbeard jump in, lose the 1v1, but get traded back. Palu with the shotgun is good for one, but can't take that many flexible gunfights due to the nature of having a close-range weapon, of course. I think losing Lopin right there, bottom fireplace, that's the one that hurts the most. Volps, honestly, a nice try. Finally some respect given by Furia. Hurts overswung it, and after that, they played it correctly, they played it smart together.
Now look, if anyone from Furia is going to overswing a little bit too much, it's definitely going to be Hertz. He's the guy
it's true.
Who will ego peek everything.
I cannot disagree there. It has to be him.
5 seconds to go.
He's on the Solus now, a very important operator. We saw plenty of it on border. It's extra special on that map because of the ability to deny those rushes. Is he going to go for a peek? He's got a lot of mobility with those impact grenades as well. He can always open up this hatch and retreat back if he starts to feel a lot of pressure, which I think he is likely to. Where's Dots going? Inside of mud, perhaps?
Hey, he hears all of this. He's gonna be like, Philippox, if you're downstairs, get ready to run. There's a shield outside, probably a blitz. The scanner, if he were to activate it, can see the blitz's location at all times.
While he's got the shield out.
While he's got the shield up, of course.
There's a player on the balcony out here for Hertz. Ooh, he's gonna reveal his position, open up the hatch and look for a retreat, but he's actually not gonna retreat, it's a fake. He peels back for now, but spotted from the rooftops. Volps continues to farm his old team.
Yep. I mean, perfect place once again. A huge pick. Especially up against the Clash, because now you open up the possibility of a flank elsewhere, but Philippox Blue Stairs finds Lopin. Back to even numbers. There's a flank watcher off gridlock in the grave. There's the bomb side, though. The Clash is upstairs.
No barbed wire here either. Palu could sneak onto side. Instead, he looks to Tata open that soft wall. Philippox versus Volps.
They know he's down here. Volps cut him off by Trench Thor, sending the blitz, find him first.
3 players are hunting him down, and he doesn't really have any util. Philippox spots out Dots, the impact to try and do a little bit of damage. He doesn't get flashed, but Dots wins the gunfight regardless. And Volps onto the bomb site. No, JV went to go and support his teammate. Now KZ is looking for a refrag, but FLUXO have just evaporated.
So well played. Chasing the Soul player, enabling the Lion and the Blitz to play that perfect roam game. But now the question is, do you take top 4? Because verticality speaking, you don't have much vertically. So horizontally, ignore the Clash top, just hit the bomb side.
Oh, he's lost his shield now.
Yes, that means chase the Clash because now he has no win condition. Here comes the Blitz once more. Dots has been so efficient so far.
Dots is in such a scary position if you're Nade.
So low.
Falling back, both of these players low on HP. Volps has found the first one. Ooh. He gets traded, but Dots is quick, hot on his heels. He's bullied into the corner, and Palu takes it with the pistol. FLUXO W7M are a different beast on Chalet. 5 map points stand before them. The lead is almost irreparable, and Furia look like a shadow of their greater selves.
Speaking of shield value, right? We saw Furia struggling to do that roam clearing, isolating the 1v1s. That right there is a beautiful display of how to play a blitz with the Lion and cutting off rotations. And the thing is, despite not having almost any drones in the building, FLUXO knew exactly where the defenders were by the process of elimination. By Volps being Trench Thor very early in the round and said, I never saw the Goyo running back. He has to be Wine Cellar, Blue, or Snowmobile Garage. He couldn't be anywhere else. And then you send down the blitz, you face check in every corner. It's the fastest and safest way to get that kill and get that information to your team. And it gets them 3 kills from Dots playing the blitz. 3 kills.
And we're going to look back on this series, at least the first 2 maps, and think, my God, 15 rounds on border, and FLUXO staved off 2 match points. And then Furia were completely bottled on Chalet. It's not at all what we expected. And Furia now fighting. They need to stave off 4 match points just to push us into overtime. And that just doesn't seem likely.
It doesn't seem likely.
FLUXO W7M have undoubtedly been the better team today.
They've been the better team while also being the most clutch. And going into this series, that was the same stat line you spoke of in the very beginning. The 3Ks, the 4Ks, Palos 1vx clutches, like they literally have all the clutch factors at this event so far. So when the teammate doesn't do it, some of the individuals will. Volbs is sitting on 14 kills right now. C4 this time works out. Hertz was fishing in Solarium for the longest time. That takes the ace out of this round. And to be honest, not the biggest loss to suffer.
Good info from the drone though. Herd spots out the blitz and another one of the players behind him as well. So Furia know exactly where this push is coming from.
Changing maps.
They set up the air jabs for the flank. Perhaps later here downstairs or dining in kitchen. Looking for dining hall with the blitz. This is very unusual.
Very risky.
Are they gonna full send it?
They're straight into the bomb site.
They are.
Dots has the diffuser as well. JV92 is the first one to fall for Furia, and Dots is looking to get very aggressive. The smoke keeps him at bay for a brief moment. KZ's doing his best to battle the blitz, but Nade comes in to save the day for Furia. FLUXO W7M threw everything at the wall, but nothing is sticking.
And Volbs stuck outside. He was cutting rotations by the double door and fireplace, hoping for a kill, but nobody went into that location. He's been completely able to help his team this time around, and Paolo goes down as well. All to Volbs, but Hertz is there. KC, all of Furia, they fight back together.
It started with a massive C4 from Hertz, and it finished when he shot both of those players on the windows, hunting him down. Hertz, the man of the hour for Furia, and if it wasn't for him, that rush may well have worked out.
As Nora said himself, the coach behind FLUXO, we're calm, we're relaxed. It shows in the server that, okay, the ace died. Oh, we can't roam to the top floor because there's 2 people, it's risky. Let's just hit the bomb site. And when you up in round count like this, 6-2 scoreline, you can 100% afford to make this play and not feel any remorse if it doesn't play out.
Furia are one of those teams that thrive in the chaos. A player like Hertz creates it, and KZ on the bomb site with the Legion, him supported by Nade, they were the players that prevented that blitz from successfully getting that plant down, getting that map control, and ripping the anchor from Furia's defense. But as you said, no reason to fret, no reason to be stressed for FLUXO W7M.
No.
The scoreline is 6-3, and there are 3 more map point opportunities to send us to Cafe.
They literally just need one thing to work out, one mistake from Furia. The only thing right now is that the more specific operators that they're showing are pocket strats that could bleed into Cafe, like specific operators, play styles. That can of course hurt their chance in a best of 3 on the final map. But right now, they don't have to get too desperate. Dots has brought out the blitz time and time again, but Furia will actually affect it a little bit now, banning out the Lion. When you're taking out an operator that wants to push into somebody on defense, but you stop them from moving away from you, you will get the blitz in their face eventually, or they'll expose their position to everybody else. So this will mean Dots has to be a little more cautious now, because you can't Lion scan and then just get people to stop moving.
Yeah.
So support can arrive this time.
You won't have to worry about the Denari though. Still, we've got Thorn Ella, just like Igor talked about on the first map. I like the castle as well, an operator that was banned out on the first map.
Yeah, not super common on Chalet these days.
No.
But it does mean that you gotta play into more self-destruction, which means less roam clear, right? The Dokkaebi and stuff like that. So they bring out the sledge, probably mostly as a castle counter. You get the grenades, get some self-destruction, good gun. And with Deimos being banned away, Lobin doesn't want to play him anyway, you know?
Lobin was pretty happy to play the sledge on the first map as well. We saw Hertz doing it too. Wow, nice quick steal from JV. Oh, he's actually baited in and found a kill as well. While the wall has been breached, it doesn't matter because JV gets away with a frag.
There's 2 spare Grismos in pocket, so if JV had gone down there, a lot of util goes with him. That high-risk, high-reward playstyle, Beepoop exposing Lobin. This could be an office rush.
In goes the sledge, and behind him the blitz as well. The castle somehow, while blinded, still manages to kill the blitz. A refrag from Loban is not going to be enough. Palu holds down the fort inside of Piano and finds 2 big kills. Now him and Loban are inside of the bomb site. Herds and KZ need to look for a retake, but Loban's got info, and Palu's distracting him on the bomb site. Where is Herds? They know he's behind the bomb, but he still finds the kill. The C75 comes out for KZ, and Herds and KZ together clutch up for Furia. FLUXO W7M throw everything they can, but there's nothing to be done when the clutch players from Furia hold down the site.
It's such a good read as well. So Palu flashbang for his teammate, fully blinding the player by the bedroom chassis. The pre-fire makes the work happen. Tag timeout here, I think.
Sagon fechado, tá ligado? Os caras tá tendo uns confortos que não é pra ter. Então, vocês estão sabendo escolher bem as kills. Você tá, por exemplo, você somou bem aquela punida do cara do solar do portal. Quando a gente caçou o cara na adega, você somou bem a batida do portal pra impedir o all-in. Vocês estão fazendo isso bem, só prepara tudo, escolhe aquilo que vocês querem jogar e aí a gente consegue progredir, tá ligado? Só que eu preciso que vocês tenham todos os acessos possíveis. Então vai de Twitch, tira trap, vai de Ribana, tira todos os castos, prepara tudo que vocês precisam, decidam e aí joga. Com tudo que vocês puderem, tá ligado?
Ok. Fechou.
E sem neuro,
bora. Acho que vai ser cozinha recuadinha agora, né?
Bora.
And as the timeout has finished, we have a few words from our analyst Laxing on the line. Laxing, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, that last round in particular, I mean, it's so important for the side of FLUXO to be able to slow down, to be able to come together, to close out these rounds. The last thing you want to do is blow this lead. Losing rounds like this, where they should be going in your favor, does slowly chip away at the mental, especially if going into this next round, it doesn't go in their favor. And then on the opposite side for Furia, if you are allowing them to get any little bit of hope, that is slowly going to manifest and turn into something that is going to be unstoppable for the side of FLUXO. So they need to dig deep and close out this map and push it to a map 3.
I couldn't agree more, Laxing. Thank you so much for your insight. The time for toying with your opponent is over. For FLUXO, like Laxing said, log it in right now. Give it 110%, get it 7-4 or whatever, and go into Cafe knowing that you played a phenomenal game of Chalet. Speaking to the mental game as well, FLUXO were feeling mighty good a couple rounds ago. You're gonna start being, okay, we could taste the victory. Oh no, it's slipping away. Oh no, guys, we're throwing. Oh, it's overtime. Oh no. That sets you up for failure. Worried to go into Cafe, that third and final deciding map. Whereas for Furia, we know they're a mental team. And we saw how JV swung Library last round, just like taking those Eagle challenges, those Eagle battles. This right here, waiting for it to pay off, and Volps doesn't find the kill this time from outside the building. He's been the cutoff player on the attack, but he was almost an injury player on defense. He hasn't been in the first early battles much for Volps. And they're also off the blitz. Now dots onto the Monty, maybe like I said, slowing things down a bit, breathing more and going for more execute style attacks.
The danger with slowing things down too much is if Furia read into that, you see things like the Echo come into play.
Exactly.
And there's no better example of an operator that punishes slow play than that Echo. If it comes down to the late round, you're going for a plant, Philippox is still alive, that plan ain't going down.
So we gotta get some early aggression somewhere, either a kill, a good bit of map control, and just slowly progress the map, right? Every second matters right now. The first projectile wall goes out. They're waiting for a C4 response. Nothing happens, so the fish unsuccessful. But now it's in pre-placed. They can pop that wall up and down whenever they want to jump in that trophy window. But with 2 people on rappel, everyone outside the building still, getting in that first window, it's gonna be a challenge.
Furia can also use that Echo to get aggressive if they want, but I think at the moment the play is just not to overthink things too much. Furia can just sit back. They still have 2 C4s on the site. As I say that, Herds has actually gotten really aggressive on the other side of the map, which means that now there's going to be a crossfire onto Dots as he makes his way into the lobby.
He's going to go up the lobby stairs into Fireplace.
They want to kill this guy.
Yeah, they want to isolate him.
They know where KZ is, and Dots is now in the perfect position to flush him out. But KZ, he can take the fights. He staved off the Monty with the Thorn Trap so he could isolate Volts. And while Dotas has traded him back, it was a worthy play from someone who should have been doomed to die.
Idea.
It hurts. Sneaking behind enemy lines. has stolen another kill onto Dodez. No more hard breach available for FLUXO W7M.
No. Playing it safe and playing it slow, and yet that one mistake might cost him the entire round with that delete.
Oh!
Being reduced.
Oh.
Furia making the comeback happen right here, right now.
It well and truly has begun, Pengu. It's 3 rounds straight for Furia. Each one looking better than the last. One more on the board, and we will have a second overtime in this series.
It's bound to happen. The way these rounds are playing out, the struggles for both teams, and the things they're doing well, it's turning that momentum into Furia's side. The small mini-games are working so much more in their favor. I was thinking with Casey stuck in the library corner, if you're by the double window and just hold him with a gun, he's bound to move eventually. Instead, you jump in a single window, he pre-fires you, you lose. Miscoordination. Had they waited for Wolves to get onto that big window first, all of a sudden it should be a guaranteed kill. And then if you miss the guy in the small box and he gets one, it's not the end of the world, but you lose one player to KC, lose a guy to the box, there's too many bodies. And I mean, we saw them, they wanted to go for a Solarium trophy attack. They set up everything for it, and then they sprinted to library thinking, guys, we have a free kill, and it wasn't free.
It's like Furia knew what FLUXO W7M were doing before they did it. I noticed there were 2 C4s on the bomb site to prevent that eventual jump in if the Monty did go for it, to harass the Monty. And then Herd suddenly disappeared. He was on the other side of the map. And within a few moments, he was ready to support KZ.
Yeah.
And KZ as well. What a play with the Thorn. An operator that's been out of the meta for such a long time finally makes its way back in. He sees a Monty, throws a Thorn trap, Monty has to fall back. He suddenly can take a 1v1 with the player.
Exactly. It's so good use of utility. So the final round of regulation, either we go into OT, FLUXO take the map, and Palu's stuck once again on a shotgun, this time on the Ying, and they're doubling down with the glass. They got raw aura, they got the sense to cut off crossfires and ways for Furia to help each other. This feels like that Amara push that Furia attempted. All or nothing. When they go, it's everything in the round.
Yeah, but they've got a Warden which counters the glass.
I know.
And the Ying, they've got a mirror in the hard holding positions. They've got the smoke and the clash to keep the attack at bay.
It's a perfect counter to the operators, but it will always come down to execution. Who can find the entry? That's the big question. When you get that 5v4 lead, you can reset the round and play the utility. But the issue for FLUXO has been, without that shield operator, who's gonna get into the building? It's been Dots on the Blitz, and then last round Monty is the only person doing the entry job, and he's no longer doing it. Is it Palu on the Ying? Is it Logan on the glass? Someone has to go in first.
Who makes the first move? Will Furia just play safely? Indeed, it looks to be the case. As Dodez looks to send out the first of the Rayoras.
EMP.
But it does get disabled. The EMPs come up, and Volps from down below finds the opening kill. No more Warden to worry about if you're a Ying or a Glaz, but the Nitro cell from Hers will claim the Glaz's life. And those smokes far less effective than previous.
It's worth it though. They get library control, top messing, and 1-for-1 trade is okay. They lose the glass, yes, but a great mini-execute. EMP'd off the Warden's glasses. The Ying was successful, but the issue once again, Palu's stuck in a shotgun or a Reaper secondary, going for a huge backstab much later in the round, sneaking past the default camera perhaps.
JV wasn't on that camera.
Basement.
JV should have been on that camera.
Oh no, this angle with a shotgun doesn't work.
KZ should win it, and indeed he does. He locks down the basement. It's up to Dodez to try and have a big impact here on the Rayora. He blocks off one door.
Missed the smoke,
That's the primary plant denial. You're right, the smoke did not cover off the line of sight. We have Dots on the Thatcher.
They can't jump in, it's too risky, and they got smoke and a clash. This shouldn't work. They need to go for some kills here.
Plant denial is going to be challenging here. It'll come down to the smoke as Philippox tosses out his second last. KZ still has control down. Oh, and a bit of reaggression. Gets red. Volps finds one. He's found 17 kills in this map, and if he finds 3 more, the map will be over. It's time to execute. No time left on the clock, and they find every single one of them. Nade, forced into a 1v3. They just have to go deep. Volps looking for his 19th kill, but he's on the floor. The Panthers started the fights, but they didn't realize they were battling in the bullpen. FLUXO W7M have sent us to a 3rd map.
It took way too many rounds to get there, but they had pocket strat after pocket strat showing depth in the operator pool as well and how to get apart the fast attacks, the slow attacks. Honestly, that was one of the few rounds where I thought there is no way that's the one that's gonna work. But the Thatcher came out, EMPing the ward, and we have so much more seats to cover. One more map, Cappy's up next after a short break.
almost dismantle everything that FLUXO had prepared for this Chalet. What do you think it was the gap from you that almost enabled them to do that?
Actually, we were playing really well, but we were confusing ourselves in communication between the mid rounds. Like, we were kind of lost sometimes, and we started just like, guys, let's calm down, let's play our bases, let's say, and that was it, basically.
Furia was not paying enough attention. That's what Igor said in the timeout. What do you think was making this mistakes, such minor mistakes, going so unnoticed?
Yeah, I think we had a few good rounds in the beginning that we couldn't take to our side. So I think mentally we kind of get frustrated with that. And then we started making more mistakes, and we can't let that happen. So for map 3 now, we're going to reset our mental and come better.
We're glad to see FLUXO W7M come back in this matchup, and sometimes it's just so good to be right when you said that this map really suits the playstyle of FLUXO W7M, but it did get really close.
It did get close, but I love that they didn't switch too much up on their defenses. Them just playing slow, letting Furia make the mistakes, being able to get those picks, specifically Volps, a lot of those positions on his defenses, on his attacks. He's locking down an area, and you can see it clear as day. You can't get this man out of hard corners, positions that he's able to hold down. And that was FLUXO W7M's whole game plan, essentially, and I'm glad that they stuck to it, because that is what got them out of their attacking half, of their defending half. It did get a little too close for comfort, but that's what you said in your call-ins. They need to be able to stump that momentum early on.
Yeah, and that was a very scary thing, especially once we started to see that comeback start to happen, and especially what we heard from Palu there. We needed to reset the mental, we needed to slow down, we needed to play our game. That's exactly what we saw, especially going into this last round. This last round in particular, Volps stopping the player coming up from base and being able to get the kill on the bar, getting the kill onto blue. If he doesn't win any of those gunfights, loses that control, they lose that. They go into overtime, and then that's another question. Then are we going to see them here? Are we talking about them? The fact of the matter is, Volps got the job done, 18-9, and it is important to note, he is no longer the IGL. We haven't talked about it too much. Dots has stepped into that role, but again, Volps has been let off a leash, and he is tearing into this roster.
And that's the important factor for FLUXO W7M, is being able to have a player that has amazing input, being able to shut down the aggressive players from Furia, and we talked about it. Everybody on the roster is going to have their series, going to have their map to be able to perform, but it's the strength of the whole team that is able to execute on those picks, be able to play together. So I'm glad that you commended Dots, because the IGLing off of those picks is one of the hardest things, because at that point you have to be able to adapt and go with the flow, and that's something that Furia can switch up very quickly, is where they're coming and how fast they're coming.
Yeah, I'm glad he joined us earlier in this event for a little chat and to talk about him no longer being the IGL there, but really seeing what it does with his stats at this event so far. That's a fabulous thing to see for himself, and I'm glad they also managed to stop that almost comeback, because, you know, maybe some FLUXO W7M fans were sweating a little bit there.
I mean, I was sweating.
I was worried.
I mean, hey, we're seeing it.
No, but I mean, it is important, the fact that they did get that win. Now they can battle back here in map 3, because it's going to be so important for them to focus on those key mistakes that were being made here to make sure that doesn't happen again. Like Palu was saying, to just the late round, mid to late round, the miscommunication was there. They can't allow this to happen going into a map 3.
They need to continue to be able to shut down big players, because we highlighted JB92, KZ. On a map like Cafe, it's arguably one of the ones that I would say KZ revolutionized, being able to lock down all of Piano alone on the Azami. That's one of the most difficult aspects of dealing with a player like KZ, and why FLUXO W7M, the fact that they're able to shut down these explosive players, look like they're in good fashion to be able to handle it. That being said, Furia is not going to just roll over and let it happen.
Not.
They're going to be fighting guns on, and that's why that'll be the biggest factor. Is Azami taken off the board? Will W7M FLUXO be able to deal with the aggressive overtake from KZ inside of Christmas, inside of the map? That'll be the biggest thing to look for me.
This final map is also important for these teams. Furia with a big win streak. What can W7M and FLUXO do? Maria spoke to the coaches.
We can see how FLUXO doesn't mind doing risky plays, even in a elimination match. And I think that is so cool, but how comfortable are you doing that in a map that is going to decide everything?
Cara, pra ser sincero, é fácil porque é literalmente a gente só aplicar o nosso estilo de jogo. Então, o que vocês acabaram de ver, independente se a partida é eliminatória ou não, se é inv ou não, é apenas nós. Isso somos nós.
It's so easy to do that because it's just us. We're just playing like ourselves. So even if it's not an emulation match or is an elimination match, it doesn't matter. It's just us being us. FLUXO have a lot of play styles. They can play aggressive, they cannot. How do you read a team like that to go for the third map?
focusing on ourselves basically, because if we do a good job, we are better than them. So basically, we need to focus on our game, and if we do, we can win this match, of course.
Focus on our game is what Igor is saying. They will have to do that on the attack though. FLUXO W7M get to start on defense. Feel like they might have a slight edge with that starting on Cafe.
I think a big thing for Furia too is, do we see the confidence on Igor's face after map 1? They're going to Chalet, they should go to jail. Going to map 2, oh, we got to worry about us. Respect is given, absolutely, but that begs the question, is the confidence going to be an aspect for Furia? Because that's been the biggest indicator of why they're able to win and be so strong, is having very big egos going into matches.
I mean, I think both these teams have showcased strengths and weaknesses, and that's the beauty of a best of 3, is when you're winning your map, you're winning their opponent's map, whatever that may be, is when you get to this map 3, everything should be refined. Everything should be as perfect as it possibly can. There shouldn't be room for error, and if there is room for error, it needs to be identified, it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be a response. So both of these teams, as you heard from both coaches, they just need to focus on themselves. It's no longer looking at the opponent that's in front of them, it's looking what's in front of that mirror.
Okay, taking in consideration what the coaches just said, the starting sites as well for the teams. Who takes it?
I mean, that is a big factor. This is a great map for Furia when it comes to just their map pool in general. But that being said, starting on defense, we saw in Chalet and on the first map of Border how slow FLUXO W7M was able to play on their defenses. When they were able to ramp up, they can shut down the players from Furia, and then once the side swap, it doesn't matter. So if FLUXO was able to mount a big lead on their defensive half, it might be wraps before a side swap.
I completely agree.
All right, well, elimination is on the line. Only one team gets to say in the tournament. Map 3 is upon us.
That's right, Anne. One team goes home today. We had an 8-7 first map. We almost had a comeback to overtime in the second, but we must settle it on the third, Pengu. Who takes it? What do you think? Is it Furia, or have they been overtaken by FLUXO W7M?
You know, I told you this in private before the game started, before that first match. So, you know what? This has to be a 2-0 for FLUXO, because in Cafe, ain't no way. But I have changed my opinion. FLUXO showed us more depth in this BO3 than the entire tournament beforehand. In Furia, they're struggling. Now, my only real concern here for FLUXO W7M, they had Vobes dropping 18 kills, Palu with 2 separate 1v1 clutches to barely win the map at the end of the day. If those big moments don't happen so frequently, that should have been maybe a Furia win or at the very least overtime.
FLUXO are so good at coming back after losing the first map. They did it against Oxygen when they lost Border 7-8. Sound familiar?
Classic.
They did it against SSG when they lost to Border as well. I see no reason why they can't do it against Furia, except for the fact that the last 10 times this team has met, Furia always seems to get the better of FLUXO.
Yeah, so I really think it comes down to the depth and of course the adaptations, the thing that the desk has spoken about this entire time. The question is, will it be FLUXO, will it be Furia, who has the most to give?
FLUXO W7M raised a major trophy a year and a half ago. Furia, they raised a trophy in Reload. They've raised 2 major trophies and a hammer. But does the greatest team in Rainbow Six history have it in them to raise a hammer again? Or have they been overtaken by better prospects in FLUXO? FLUXO W7M are poised to take Furia out of the Six Invitational. One of the tournament favorites. They raised the hammer 2 years ago in Brazil, and they've raised countless trophies outside that. Could it be the first time in years that FLUXO W7M hold a candle to the greatest in Brazil? It'll come down to what happens on Cafe.
Or is it gonna be another domestic upset? Atlanta Major 2023, Lowe's take down FaZe Clan 2-0, and Lowe's advance to Grand Finals, where they fall short to this very same roster. Could it be that revenge 2.5 years in fact later, looking to take Furia away from the possibility of going further, and they themselves look for another game? Clutches, big moments, very big individual performances. We've seen so many things in this BO3 so far. Cafe, it's a map where you're often stuck on window repels, having a hard time in the building. We've seen how good FLUXO's shields can be when they're on the attacking side. We've seen how good Furia can be when they're allowed to lash out and get some space in the server. Before we find out how it's gonna start off, We gotta go to a quick technical pause here, James, and just gotta really get intensified here with the nerves, with the pressure.
That's right, in your technical pauses, you can't talk to your coach. It's not like a tactical timeout.
So you and your thoughts?
You have to sit there, you can't communicate about the game, you can't talk strategy. You just gotta sit there. Now, back in your day, there were a lot of rehosts. The game was in a...
Oh! You think that we had more rehosts back? We did.
We absolutely did. You played through the Hibana bug.
Oh my God,
You
dude.
played pre-operation health.
If you survived as a player, you have the mental fortitude of a god. Like, it was every round at certain points where we had to risk it.
Yeah.
It got so bad that the rule was, if you play this specific operator and do this specific thing, you are just accepting that it breaks.
Yeah.
No rehost
It's like,
for you.
yeah, basically guaranteed to be a rehost.
Yeah.
Do you remember any specific moments in tournaments, Six Invitational, Pro League Finals, Majors, where you were sitting there and you're like, not necessarily because of a bug, but just for some reason, you have to sit there through a technical rehost for a few minutes, just dead silent?
Not exactly that, but I do have one story, and it goes back to Year 2, Season 1 in Katowice, Poland, where we're playing our first Pro League Final for me in over a year. Right? It's a big moment. We have a small crowd of about 30 people, maybe 50, and it's just people's best friends that were flown out essentially, paying for their own tickets, of course. And we found that when we arrived, we can't actually play the finals on LAN, because the LAN build, unfortunately, just didn't work on low ping. So we actually flew to Poland and played 60 ping Pro League Finals online on regular servers.
Oh my
And if you go back to the VOD of Year 2 Season 1 Grand Finals on YouTube right now and find the video, just go to any point where they show the scoreboard, you'll see 60 ping, 70 ping, 40 ping. We're playing LAN online just like we did from home. That has been the most mind-blowing experience, and we also got a bit of a laugh because we're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But looking back now, that could never happen again, you know? We've gotten much further with the technology.
And of course, the LAN build these days is we can do so much with it, especially from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
The ability to make the stage as beautiful as it is all thanks to this beautiful LAN builds. And now we're cooking into this one, and keen eyes amongst you will notice that the operator bands have rolled out Capitao Ying Azami Mira.
So really nothing too crazy. I think the Capitao is a really wise choice. In both teams bring it out to great effect on border, most notably. As I said before, right now it's going to be FLUXO on defense and Furia on the attack. When that side swap comes through, I'm very curious how much shield play we're gonna see from Dots. Because he was putting in some overtime hours on Chalet with mostly really good results. Whereas Furia, it felt like every time they brought a shield operator for nade, it was him dying early or not finding a kill and not really getting much done for his team either. I was gonna say, we're down to 4 now, 3 players, so we might need to go again.
We run it back.
Run it back.
We run it back. Why don't we just go again?
Let's go again.
Let's do it again. No, Felipox has been around the block a few times. He's actually the most experienced player on this Furia roster. I looked back at when his career started. It was over 5 years ago. I'm gonna see if I can find the first team that.
I was gonna ask you that exact question. What was his first team? Because
do you remember off the top of your head?
No, I don't. But you have teams like Red Devils who sucked. But that's longer than 5 years ago.
So I remember when Felipox played with the old Furia roster, the one that wasn't quite as good as this
Fantasies Furia roster?
Fantasies Furia roster. So if I go all the way back to 2018, apparently Felipox played for a team called GS, and then after that, he actually coached Black Dragons.
Wait, so player to coach the player?
Looks like it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. He coached a very old version of Black Dragons with Live, GDN, Hogzord.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wait, he coached Hawksword before Hawksword coached Liquid.
Yes. Yeah, the irony of that,
Okay.
right? Then, of course, he went to Team 1 as a substitute, and then Team 1 as a player for a long time before MIBR, and then eventually W7M. But the moment when Felipox and Nade joined, that is regarded as
That's the turning
a
point.
sleeper change at the time. I think people said, well, you got rid of Julio, who's a world champion. You got rid of Volps, who was a great fragger. Obviously, Volps got an offer to go to Liquid. And you pick up two, there we go, Felipox fans in the arena. You pick up 2 players, Nade, who hadn't really had a lot known about him at the time. And you pick up Felipox, it's like, oh yeah, we've seen this guy play on some mid-tier teams for a while. The most understated roster change, and they go from 2nd place in Montreal to G2 to winning every major and a Six Invitational.
it's crazy because like there is a world where they won SI against T2, win their own SI, beat FaZe. They could have gone 3 times in a row technically because they made all those grand finals. Couple rounds go, you know, the other way. History would have been changed forever. It's funny because they came into the scene as villains right after because of Hertz, right? Like he really drew that villain arc.
You remember way back at the, was it the Mexico Major? Was it no, it was a Charlotte Major way back in the day. The W7M roster at the time they were called. This is, you know, KZ, Hertz, JV, etc. They qualified for the Charlotte Major, but they couldn't actually get to Charlotte due to visa complications. They had to
3 of them made it in the end.
Yeah.
They had 2 people play from Mexico.
Yeah.
And they made it to top 8, I want to say, quarterfinals and bombed out.
And it was quite controversial at the time.
Yeah.
Because it never happened before that we'd had teams, some players in a team play remotely.
But not just that, but the funny thing is we saw them being very upset, rightfully so, you know, playing in a quote-unquote unfair condition, but due to visas, of course, not our fault. But everyone with the ass, like the NA, the EU team said, W7M, they're the best team here.
That's
like,
crazy.
They only have 3 people, but they're the best team here. We go, what, like, why would you say that, right? Fast forward a year, turns out they were indeed the best team to ever do it.
Of course.
Like, they were so good. Before they were good, they were still good.
I remember talking to them at the Berlin Major in 2022.
Yeah.
When they made it to the top 4, they actually knocked out my homeboys Elevate, the Thai team at the time from APAC. And eventually fell, I'm going to say to FaZe or Rogue. It was in the semifinals. It was either to FaZe or Rogue.
Okay.
And at the time, everyone was still saying, these guys from Brazil, they're out of nowhere.
I think it was FaZe.
Young talent, may have been FaZe.
Yeah.
Young talent are really showing that they can compete at the top level. By the time Six Invitational rolled around, no one expected them to be the second best team, but much less did anyone expect G2 to be the #1 team. They really jumped over teams like FaZe, and at the time BDS, out of nowhere to take the best spot in the world. And yet they were unable to sustain that after their fantastic, unbeatable year, 2023 into 2024.
Yeah.
Immediately they dropped off. Manchester was a disappointment. Montreal, they didn't even qualify for. And that's why they almost disbanded.
You know the big shift that happened? The meta changed. The shield meta came around the block, and that's kind of why it's funny. We look at, you know, we look at Chalet and Border, how unsuccessful the shields were for Nate and for Furia. They have never fully adjusted to neither playing the shields themselves or countering the enemy shields. So that's been their big struggle.
Yeah.
Furia, they had this 1 year where the meta was relatively similar, and they were the best team by far.
Good old split theory, if you want to call it that.
Brazil invented that, apparently. And then the meta shifted slightly with the shield change, and all of a sudden, Furia would, as you said, not qualify or do very poorly when they would qualify.
They're loose gunners, they play around each other, their fundamentals are impeccable.
But the shields stop all
Their
that.
shields, leave a lot to be desired.
Hold up. Nade is on Twitch, right? JV is on JV is on Blitz. Now I could see this happening. I could see this working.
You can see the Fury are continuing to figure out which of their players should be the shield player.
Yeah.
Maybe it depends on the operator in question. JV, he likes to play aggressively.
He'll be in there.
But we also see him play with some restraints, which we don't see as much from Hertz. I'd say JV is a natural balance between Hertz and Nade in terms of how aggressive he plays.
If they can Twitch drone the Goyo fires on Bakery door, aura off the single door by Bakery window, and then jump in with a blitz, that could be a fast way in. They got the glass as well. The issue is the magnets, the Goyo fire, you gotta deal with those first. Gonna slow down the pace quite a lot, but Volbs, dude, 18 kills with Chalet, opening pink onto Nate on Twitch to stop people from clearing out that utility. So much value. Blitz goes in fast.
A smoke bang though by Loban on the Warden. And this is again a round where Furia haven't dealt with that Warden. We saw it happen on Chalet. Try to bring Glaz, they try to bring smokes, they try to bring Ying, and it doesn't work. Not when you have a Warden on the board. The Rayora from KZ was not enough. He was easily dispatched with, and Palu's got an active boy. A flawless beginning to Cafe. FLUXO W7M continue their Chalet form.
And Furia, again, with small mishaps on the execute. They didn't aura off the door, so Blitz almost died to the C4 tossed out. They smoked off the Warden without closing the door first, so Warden can see through the smoke and kill them. Very small errors that have a massive consequence in the server. The order of the utility was outright just wrong for Furia. Plus, they lost Nate early on the Twitch. So Goyo Fire not popped. Warden not countered, Blitz not successful. It's 6 rounds of shields in this BO3 and 1 round victory only. Volbs might just be the series MVP. He might just be.
It's not even close at the moment.
Well, Paolo had 2 clutches. He had 2 1v1s on Chalet.
You're right. He had a lot of clutches, but when it comes down to like, just consistent dragging out, we can't deny Volbs has been that guy. Looking back at the first map, he had a pretty quiet 9 kills to 11 deaths, but Chalet, you said, 18 and 9, a 2.0 KD, already starting strong here.
Like, mind you, the final round of Chalet, it was Volbs at main door, grenading off the player 5 stairs, holding blue and getting a kill. He opened up the round in the most dire position.
Volbs got 4 3Ks on Chalet. 4 3Ks.
Yeah, 4 3Ks.
That's 12 of his 18 kills already.
Yeah, okay.
And he's looking to continue with the fire on Cafe. Nade, the second round in a row, is the first to fall for Furia.
It's Nomad as well. Like, you have so much active util in pocket. We got the Razor Blooms prepped on the rooftops here. Shout out to Swartzy, actually. German player who also played in the Xbox One Run Now qualifier for SI. Almost made it and qualified here. He showed these Razor Blooms lineups on Twitter, or X, right when this tournament started. And I think a lot of people might have seen it because ever since that tweet blew up, we've seen it from OXG, and we've seen it now as well from FLUXO.
Spotted now. Oh, JV. It's just there in the Christmas tree next to you. He hasn't seen it for now.
The way they work, by the way, if you rappel up next to it, you will die because you're stuck in repel animation. So it's a guaranteed kill if you wrap up on the wrong side.
It's got to detonate, surely, at any moment.
Oh, Casey. Imagine when he droned there.
If he gets into the range and then gets on his drone, that would be it. Paolo's somehow taking out Hertz. He got a little bit aggressive. The Razor Bloom detonates to no effect. Hertz has to go deep after the second one detonates in Cigar Shop. And looks to try and reply. His team is 2 players in deficit, and Volbs is just around the corner from him. KZ's looking the wrong way. Rifle in hand, and Volbs will quickly shut him down. Felipox is under pressure and actually dies to a Razor Bloom, no less. JV92 in a 1v4, and Volbs is toying with them.
Valcam.
Yep. Oh, nice shot. 2 kills on the round, but a Nitro cell from way downtown for a man who's just fragged the hell out. Volbs is looking a little bit too stressed.
That is a tough one. Very, very mentally difficult start here from the side of Furia. Igor, when speaking to Maria on stage between the games, or between the maps rather, he was saying how we need to reset mentally. I think Philippox said the same thing. Right now, going to this map, we have to just reset. And I'm sure they have, but how the first 2 rounds have played out, you can reset as much as you want. You're straight back to tilting. If you're Nade, you haven't played the game yet, James. You died first in the first 30 seconds of both rounds as Twitch and as Nomad.
Yeah.
You've not fired your gun yet.
First map on border. FLUXO W7M won up 2-0, and then Igor immediately took the tactical timeout and restabilized to even out the end of the half.
Yeah.
I feel like we need that tactical timeout, and we need it soon from Igor, because this has been far too dominant. They only found 2 kills in the second round, 0 kills in the first round. Felipox's family is here, flown all the way to Paris in the hopes that they can see their son raise a second hammer like they did back in Sao Paulo.
Attackers are moving out
2 years ago. A long, long way away.
So they've had a bit of time to settle in from that previous round, and we need to see a big switch up. I would love to see Furia, much like I said on border, go back to basics. Play a bit slower, a bit safer, and get to execute and get to the end stage of a round. So many of these rounds on all the maps have been decided in the first minute and 30 seconds. We don't see executes, we don't see plans, we don't see post plans either. So Furia, this attacking lineup, I really like it on paper, right? You get a Twitch to clear out stuff and get information, excellent. You get IQ, for same reason, counter the pulse, counter the IQ, stabilize the rounds, soft destruction with grenades, verticality on the grip on the ramp. They have all the right tools, but they need to have the right pace and timing. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down.
The Twitch IQ combo is perfect, as you said, but both Twitch drones have now been shot. Only managed to get one of the Valkyrie cameras and only one of the Vulcan canisters.
That's not enough.
Not good enough value from the Twitch drones, thanks to FLUXO W7M being so good at shutting them down. KZ Usually a player unafraid of challenging any angle is cautious because he's taking a lot of damage from Cocktail.
Just stay alive, right? Right now the focus very much is stay alive. They're missing pressure on the window repels of Cocktail though, so they're giving FLUXO a lot of space to work beneath the C4 and top white Cocktail, but KZ still just looking. A C4 phantom ready gets tossed on up, doesn't find anything.
JV continues dancing around. He's already taken a lot of damage. And there's info on his position from DOS down below at the pulse. He can continue trying to take the fight through the floor with the shotgun as well. It makes JV have to continue dancing around these angles. Good nade though, that's gonna destroy, no it actually won't destroy the bar. KZ is vulnerable! Donas will take them both down. 5v3 goes to a 5v2 and JV's low HP. Donas is hungry for more. Hertz needs to conjure up some magic here with the IQ. Straight into the crossfire. A second flawless round for FLUXO W7M.
Furia are in trouble. Nobody on counter repel at any point in that round. Nobody on the window repel to cut off the rotations to enable that push. It is a Persian topping Scarlet, a Persian pushing Longbar, and 2 people in Freezer with a pulse scanning you below, and they know this. There's a Valk camp behind them. They're not getting anything done strategically in the server. They're missing the most basic of areas in their control. And FLUXO, we just saw it there for a second, they banned the Monty saying, you wanna play off that? You can't. Igor, tag timeout.
Dispensa Coca Fanta, tá todo mundo spotado. Esse é o boneco mais roubado do jogo, a gente sabe disso. Então, Pox, a gente pode fazer full piano se a gente tiver esse green pra gente splitar. Prepara as coisas, marca, combina a comida e a gente come todo mundo junto, botando as miras no lugar. Senão a gente pode fazer um pouco dos split também, que esse boneco é muito forte pra gente fazer isso. E lembra que eu falei, embalo 4 tá muito forte por conta do jeito que eles jogam. Eles estão jogando peitando aqui um pouco mais. Cada um mira uma janela, tipo, se nasceu lá na docas, um mira 3, outro mira 1, mira 2. A gente sai saindo, chega no spawn pra gente ter tempo pra gente jogar. Só que a gente não pode ter medo, guys. Só vamos fazer o que a gente quer e a gente jogar
vamos manter esse green full aqui então.
Exato.
Bora, guys.
Bora, guys.
So, right before that tag timeout, Monty Bank came into a quick play there. FLUXO is saying whatever desperate operator they want to play after to stabilize these rounds will be removed. Monty is the #1 stability operator in the game, especially on Cafe. It's a perfect target ban, even though they haven't played it so far, and even though they're not the best shield team. It removes the easy crutch for them to get back into the game. They are completely locked out.
Furia have so many questions to answer. 2 kills in 3 rounds. And both of them were just exit frags for JV. Not a single one of these players, not Hertz, not KZ,
no,
not Philippox or Nade, have found a frag so far.
You know, you can root against Furia all you want, but this is not the way anybody should want them to go out. Kill-less, out-strategized, not adapting correctly, and falling apart in the server. And it probably is at this very moment where that doubt is settling in. The last dance? Let's raise that last hammer together, guys. We can do it. It might not feel all that possible right now. They need this round more than ever to bounce back.
If they are to go down to a team they've beaten 10 times in a row, to a regional rival in Brazil, not to a team like FaZe Clan, not to a team like Falcons or Amati or G2, but to one that they should be beating 100 times over. That's when it truly will be the last dance for Furia. And a second kill has been found by Loben. KZ and Hertz remain with no kills. And a Nitro Cell shuts JV out of the game. Philippox and Nade stare down the barrel of another flawless round. And Nade is on the floor.
Heartbreak.
Philippox, their captain, must stand tall.
One by one they fall.
One by one they march towards him. It is a flawless round for the 3rd time for FLUXO W7M.
They're dying to C4s, to spawn peaks, they're whiffing their shots in the 50-50s, they're not playing close together, there's no drone work for any of these engagements. It feels like mental boom. The first, perhaps, mental boom of this caliber we've ever seen from Furia in the history of this roster. It feels like they don't have a fighting chance. And you know what? It's all due to how well FLUXO W7M have played this series so far. Ever since the very first round on Border, they looked strategically ahead. But I was thinking, how long can they keep it up for? Furia, they got something prepared. Surely they have an answer on these following maps, right? Not really. Not at all by the looks of it.
Where is the Furia that beat 3 out of these 5 FLUXO players in the Atlanta Major Grand Final? Where is the Furia that was 6-1 down on the final map in Sao Paulo
Kept
with
fighting.
10,000 Brazilian fans cheering for FaZe? And yet they came back 7 rounds in a row to raise the hammer. Where is the Furia that raised the Reload Trophy in Rio less than a year ago? Where is the Furia that we saw in the group stage and the upper bracket that took down Falcons in their opening playday here in Paris? There have been 4 rounds and they only have 2 frags to show for it.
Igor already called the tag timeout. It's only down to the players in the server right now. And from the outside looking in, we're looking at Felix, right? The captain, the RGL. But one thing is to have the right strategy. Another one is to have the right words. Because again, Furia have not been faced with this position before. Being down against a team that they shouldn't be losing to. Being made fun of on the biggest stage we've had here in Europe. They need a kill. They need the injury. They need a bit of motivation in the server. The nade is good. Here's the mute jammer. Makes it more difficult to play in this position of Cigar. He has a castle barricade to his left. And he's watching the hatch drop straight in front of him. Furia have to make the first move. A little bit under pressure if the window repels, but again, this is all pressure from outside the building. They've yet to enter.
And there is a way back into it for Furia. It's a defense-sided map. If they win 2 rounds of attack, there is still hope that may lie in the second half.
There's the window repel they needed last round. They've made the right adaptation. The Claymores to support the jump out as well. So they're in the right spots. Can they execute together? Can they get the nades, the Grim Bees, and the gun fired up at the right time in the right place?
Good util clear.
No one watching the cross.
No one is able to
No
cut
one's
off
watching
Palu.
it.
How do they get a kill here? How do they actually get in the building? Every single player is still on rappel or on the roof.
Had they been caught to rappel with that grenade, they get the freebie, they open things in for a rappel in, but they weren't. Now they have no nades left. They are completely locked out. It feels like a Furia round where they gotta go absolutely crazy in the server with the gun skill. But when you're stuck on these rappels, how are you going to get in?
2 flashes for JV is the only thing that Furia has to try and make an opening here. It's that, or the guns have to come to life. And we haven't seen that happen even once here for Furia on Cafe as of yet. Herds, where is the fire that you brought?
Flash drop
on Water and Chalet. Both flashes go down, but Dones is waiting for the skyroll from a double. They fall into the meat grinder, and Furia find absolutely nothing. JV looks for a consolation frag, but he's left alone! A 4th round! Flawless for FLUXO! I have never seen a team of this caliber go down so quietly on the world stage.
When your best bet is to double drop the skylight into every crossfire known to man, without any of the heavy util operators, like the Ying, like the Capital, that's been banned away, then you are desperate. You have no other options, or you're simply not seeing them and making those options work together. The grenades, they had 4 in pocket when the round started. Not a single grenade was used to move a player forcibly and then watch the angle and go for the kill. Palu was living rent-free top white despite having all the grenades. Wolves was living rent-free in bathroom despite the grenades. No pressure anywhere on the map. FLUXO W7M, to their credit, they didn't move a muscle because they didn't ever need to. They're not making any mistakes. They're not giving Furia any easy way back into this. And that's perfect.
How do you beat your bogeymen? How do you take down the team that always has your number? Furia have never broken a sweat against FLUXO. Some games go somewhat deep, but at the end of the day, we always know who wins in this head-to-head. And it's Furia every day of the week. They need to lock in right now. Otherwise, their tournament is finished. And they will not have another chance to vie for the hammer.
With it being the last dance, don't know what's going to happen for certain with the roster afterwards. And if this is going to be the end of the course, we know it. This would be the absolute worst way to go down. After all, she says JB's in. There's finally some firepower in the bomb side with the case as well. They get 2 kills.
Hold the phone. for Furia because they found the opening. They brute forced their way into it, and Dots has made mincemeat out of it. Back to the cell sent over, and FLUXO will find him. Plant denied. JV is on the floor. The Furia have finally got their mojo back. 4v2, and Volps is shut out of it. Dota is yet to fall. He's the last one standing, and he is being tracked by the Deimos. It's been a long time between drinks, but Furia finally get back on the horse.
If we were in the player comms and we understood Portuguese, it feels like that was someone saying, guys, we have nothing to lose. We're down 0-5, let's just play the game that we know. Let's play together. They were immediately in the building, in the bomb site, no fear, no hesitation, and guess what? They won a round. They got some entry kills. But it took them 5 embarrassing round losses to get there. Now, thankfully, they're gonna have side swap, they're gonna go on defense. But this is gonna have to be a repeat of their game against FaZe, where it's everything against them, and they gotta go perfect so many rounds in a row. 5 to go into OT, assuming FLUXO don't get a single round, obviously.
Stressful day to be cheering for FLUXO and for Furia. Into the second half we go. And it's time for Furia to show that they can hold it down on defense. It's a more comfortable place to be.
Sure.
But it means that FLUXO W7M get to dictate the pace.
Yeah, and they've been so good at that. They're gonna have insane amounts of confidence. Now in Chalet, there was a brief moment FLUXO could not close out the rounds. If that happens again, it could of course turn the tide. FLUXO W7M, funny enough, they've banned the Valkyrie and the Kaid, focusing on information and locking down those walls, the strategical depth, if anything. Furia banned away the Grim and the Ying, again speaking to those execution-enabling operators. They left in all the shields, they left in Karatao and Deimos. That's the most notable operators they can toy with. Yet FLUXO don't pick any of them in the opening round. The Lion, the Twitch, all great. And Ash in case of Mira. FLUXO was hiding the Clash the entire time inside the freeze of top 4. So the Clash will be a surprise come round start.
Specchio active. No.
You know, the funny thing about Cafe is that the round doesn't really start until 2:30 because you gotta get to the building getting spawn peeked first.
And that's fair enough because everyone likes to spawn peek. Nade was spawn peeked twice on the defensive half.
Yeah.
He went for it in the second and he falls to Volts. Already Furia fighting 4v5.
It's one of those things where you gotta get back the confidence and the pressure, so spawn peeking makes a lot of sense. But again, the high risk, high reward playstyle. Now you're down a player. Thankfully though, it's the best operator on paper. It's the passive util of Goyo who died, who's put down all the Vulcan canisters already. So, it's not a huge loss at all.
KZ needs to get active. The Solus, he's the perfect operator to cause a disruption. Get information, look for players droning. Look for players planting. Look for gaps. Stay alive until the late rounds and cause chaos. But FLUXO have the numbers advantage. They've cleared out the deployable shielded pixel. And they've gained plenty of info on what's happening behind this clash. Finally, Herds will get rid of that drone, but he's not found a kill yet.
Yeah. It's very important that if you Furia right now, you're just discussing if they go for this attack, what's gonna be our counter? If they make this play, what's our response? But the problem is what happens when Hertz falls as well, and so does JV. What happens when it's a 2v5?
There's only one answer here for Furia, and it's for KZ to show us the kind of form that made us regard him as one of the best in the world. But a 5th flawless round for FLUXO. No longer do they fly under the radar. They are not just competing with the best. They are sending Furia home to Brazil. 5 series points. And the greatest team of all time has been brought to its knees.
Look at Lobin's face in the player cams. He's literally dying, laughing every single round. His cheeks are all red. He can't contain himself. Norris, the coach behind the boys of FLUXO, I'm sure very proud right now. He's been saying the entire time, we're not upset, we're not stressed, we're very relaxed. Because it's Furia's game to lose. They should just outright win this. Every prediction, most fans would think maybe FLUXO will take a map. Maybe they have a good couple rounds. But no chance. They have 5 flawless victories on Cafe.
And Philippox now finds himself where he's very familiar with, a place where he's been before. 6-1 down, on the verge of being eliminated from a Six Invitational. We've seen this team do it before, but for a player like Philippox, who's had such a long career, he's played on so many teams. He's coached, he's played on mid-pack teams in Brazil, before finally joining this Furia roster back when they were W7M after they got so close to raising the hammer in Montreal. And as soon as he joined, we saw a new brand out of this team. We saw a level of maturity that they never possessed before, and we saw greatness that nobody in Siege history has ever matched. And there's still a debate going on about the legacy of G2 Penta and Furia W7M, this passing of the torch, this new generation. But there's still a little bit of debate there about whether G2 Penta winning 2 SIs, whether Furia, because they've only won 1, can they truly be the greatest team of all time? This was the event to disprove that.
It was. It was going to be the deciding factor between the old guard and the new.
And it's the last chance to do it with all the rumors that have been out there about what's happening with Furia after this event. Now, we don't know. Remember last Six Invitational?
You hear things.
Philippox said we almost broke up after Montreal, after failing to qualify, and yet we stuck together. We saw a top 3 in Boston, and we thought we still have what it takes. We got the trophy in Reload, and we thought we've still got what it takes to push for a hammer. But to go out in the first match on the main stage, not a top 3 finish, not a top 2 finish, top 6. After beating Falcons in their opening matchup, this was a promising tournament for Furia, has been all the way through. Up until this game right now, I have never seen a World Championship competing team lose 5 flawless rounds in a map.
No, it's been incredibly one-sided all the way through. We go to sideswap thinking, you know, defense might save Furia, make the comeback a reality, make it possible. Flawless round again. You know, they lose a player early, Nate while spawn peeking, Hertz dies shortly after that, everyone dies together. Quick success. The players are fist bumping, they're getting ready to lock back into the server. But if you're the side of FLUXO W7M, you've been laughing, you've been smiling, thinking, oh my god, I can't believe we're doing this right now. If you're a player from Furia, there are 2 sides to the mental game. You might sit there in that 2-3 minute tech pause and go, that's it. Take a look around, really take it on and say, you know what, we had an incredible run. Our careers with this roster, what we achieved, dynasty level, right? Or you can sit there and go, this isn't it. We can bounce back. I'm thinking of the upgrade about what bombs do we play on? What strat do we bring out? Who do I need to motivate? Say, you know what, Hertz, don't worry about it. This is your round. I'm gonna play Echo, I'm gonna join in for you. There's 2 sides to it. But looking at those player camps from Furia, it seemed like it looked like the end of it.
There's no accepting defeat. A team that has reached greatness like this cannot say, well, we did it when no one else did. We were the first team to win 2 majors.
You're right.
We were the first team to win everything for a year. You can't accept that.
You can't. But when you have that last dance potential on the back of your shoulders, you also have to take a moment on that stage to say, wow, what an incredible path we had together. Because you don't take that moment right now when you're sitting on that stage, you can take it from the crowds looking at a different team being in your spot instead. You have to embrace what you've accomplished regardless of this current result.
I say you do it after the match is over. Lock in, because on the other side, this is such a huge moment for a player like Volts, who left this Furia roster back when they were W7M after they failed to raise the hammer in Montreal. He left, and he saw Philippox and Nade join and go on to create the greatest team of all time. While he sat on lesser teams, he bounced for Team Liquid and finally found his home on FLUXO W7M. Palu finally departed from Liquid and now playing at his 8th Six Invitational. He's become the kill leader for all time, Rainbow Six Esports.
Leading in clutches this event.
Certainly leading clutches in this series as well.
Announced he's becoming a father soon as well in his personal life. He's catching W's.
And he saw his old teammate, his former duo Nesk, retire with no championship, no world championship, no hammer. under his belt, Palu does not want to have the same fate. He is down on the floor as Furia look to lash out. Filipok's got the down.
Beamed on the window. They know there's claymores outside, so can't go for a jump out. Maybe impact grenade or just looking to waste a bit of time. The issue is Filipok doesn't have impacts himself, only Hurts who spent them earlier, so they're gonna reset it, allow Paolo back up. But when you go for that kind of injured play, you're wasting a good 20 seconds off the attacker's time. And now they are the ones stuck on the repels. They have to do the util, flash in first, average answer, pop that first mirror window. The second one waiting for them, and no more ass breaches in pocket.
So Furia look to create a fortress on the bomb site and upstairs above it.
This angle is nasty.
He might be able to contest it. Look at the ego from Loban. A little jiggle peek, it forces Furia off the angle. KZ's in off position. The Lion locks him in place. And it's go time for FLUXO W7M.
Almost. The issue is out of flashbangs, out of grenades.
Doing
Hurts first, he's crossing, he's 0-7 now. You got Mouse down the wide hallway. Ideally, two people together. Get the timing, wait for the line scan. 3, 2, 1, this could be your moment.
Dots has moved forward. Vulnerable to C4s below. 2 in the hands of Fury, the first will miss. But Nade still holds that DMR, that potent weapon. Upstairs, FLUXO W7M continue looking for picks. They see that it's fully reinforced into reading. How do they find their way forward? Palu shuts JV down. Numbers in favor of FLUXO. As one by one, they look to hunt Furia. FLUXO have flown under the radar. And for Furia, it is their last dance. They will begin to stumble. They knocked them out in Munich. They knocked them out in Riyadh. They knocked them out in Rio. But today, FLUXO force Furia back to Brazil.
And it's not just about the result, a map won or a map lost. It's how they got there. The 5 flawless rounds, out-strategizing Furia, out-aggressing Furia, and showing more depth and more levels to this game for this roster of FLUXO W7M than they have the entire tournament so far. We thought they were a one-trick pony. They go for spawn peaks. They go for gunfights. They're a mini Furia. But there is so much more to this roster, so much more untapped potential for this event.
There's no such thing as a mini Furia. All there is FLUXO W7M, the little brother squad. But they have just taken down the greatest team of all time and knocked them from the Six Invitational. And for Palu, it is a generational moment. For a player like Hurts, it is heartbreak. He exits Cafe with no kills, and Furia have soul searching to do after SI. FLUXO W7M have got an unbelievable journey ahead of them throughout the rest of this Six Invitational, but they have done what everybody said was impossible, and now nothing is off limits.
We've seen a ton of different upsets throughout this entire SI, and it hasn't stopped just yet, James. Lower bracket run, running that gauntlet. So many victors of the past, they made that exact same journey. There is something about coming in as the underdog that just gives that slight buff. Even the crowd favors FLUXO W7M.
And for Dodas, Norris, Dots, and Loban, it is sweet revenge for the grand final major trophy that was robbed from them at Atlanta. And for today, it's Palu's chance to speak